D.A.M.N time. D.A.M.N time. Wake up, it's D.A.M.N time. D.A.M.N time. Truth in the booth and the whole chat line. I walk in with the facts, no fluff in the bag. Hot coffee, cold truth, let me raise that flag. They came for the jokes, but they stayed for the lesson. I turn headlines into business confessions. I don't do fake, I don't tap dance nice. I say what I said, then I say it twice. If the world gone crazy, I'm the morning alarm. With a mic in my hand and some smoke in my palm. Say D.A.M.N. D.A.M.N. Say it one more time. D.A.M.N. If the truth hit hard, let it ride. If the show got value, put some love inside. It's D.A.M.N. Everybody say it. D.A.M.N. Don't just replay it. D.A.M.N. We live in the chat. If the facts hit home, go and tap that tap. D.A.M.N. Hands in the sky, wake up, get smart, let the nonsense die. Tap that tap, drop that love. Shack going crazy when that truth show up. Tap that tap, drop that love. D.A.M.N. in the morning now, turn me up.
Yeah, buddy. What's happening? What's good with you? What's happening in your world? I hope you are doing well. Today is a different day. I'm going to need y'all to go ahead, tap that tap. Let's go. Sorry for the late show, but I had some things I had to handle, and I had to make room because today we're getting close, people. I don't know if you've heard, but now we're on day 3 of Godfrey Watch. Day 3, ladies and gentlemen. Chair's still open, but is it? Yeah, because today is different, people. Over the last few weeks, social media has been on absolute fire. Podcasts, YouTube channels, Instagram lives, Facebook, so on and so forth. Everybody and their black ass mama got an opinion about Godfrey. Foundational Black Americans, the Diaspora, who gets to speak for whom, what that looks like, the whole nine. But a whole lot of people have been talking, including my black ass. But a lot of people have not actually been having conversations. And that's what I'm going to change. Yes, indeed. Right? And my guest today has spent decades in comedy, media, podcasting, and relationship coaching. He's built a reputation for saying what he believes, whether people agree with him or not. He is not afraid of the smoke. He is not afraid of uncomfortable conversations. Ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly why I wanted him here. Now, today, we're not here for gotcha moments. We're not looking for viral insults. We're not here chasing clout. We don't do that because that is some bitch assness shit. And y'all know I do not believe in bitch assness. But we are going to talk about the Godfrey controversy. We're going to talk about foundational Black Americans. We're going to talk about accountability. We're going to talk about absolutely everything up to and including respect. And we're also going to ask some questions that a lot of people have been dancing around. Like Puffy, just and so if you've been waiting for somebody to actually sit down and have a grown man ass conversation, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and hit that super chat. I'm gonna need you to go ahead and like, share, subscribe. Ladies and gentlemen and lady friends, allow me to welcome one, the only co-host of In Godfrey We Trust, a man who has so much experience and is an unintentional founder of the Proud Boys. The one and only Dante Nero is in the building. What up, homie?
What's going on, doggy? How you? What's the deal?
Man,
What's the deal?
Great. I'm great. Did I bring you up or did I bring you up?
You brought me up. I can't ask for no better than that, bro. I can't ask for no better than that.
Absolutely. Well, man, first and foremost, man, I want to thank you for taking the invitation. Obviously.
Yeah, no doubt.
I know you didn't have to do this. I'm getting a little bit of feedback from your monitor, by the way.
Let me. How about that?
That should be good. Yeah, that's not
better.
Bad. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's better. So before we get into clips and everything that's happened, man, I want to ask you a simple question.
Yeah.
What made you say yes to coming on Dave Anderson Morning News?
Well, I saw your thing with Zuni.
Frank Zanu.
Frank Zanu. And what I think happens a lot of times is, people are talking about blackness from a perspective, and they don't have the intellectual acuity. I shouldn't say intellectual acuity because he's definitely an intellectual dude, but they don't have the historical background. And so when you don't have the historical background, you're speaking from an ignorant perspective, because when you understand at the base of all of this, if you don't understand what was done to African Americans in terms of, I mean, I just finished, like if you look at my bookshelf, I don't play. So, but I just finished The Edible Negro, which
Delectable
is,
Negro.
Delectable Nero, right? There's another one called Edible People. I read both of those, but when you start reading, when you want to know how evil white supremacy and white people can be, I two books I tell people to read. One is a Medical Apartheid, and the other one is Delectable Negro. Also Edible Negro, but. When you talk about the homoerotic fetishization of black bodies, the consumption of black bodies, which is really interesting when you look at this the Epstein files, and you talk about these rich white men who were having sex with children, and cannibalizing children and torturing children, and you get people like, oh my God, this is so crazy. Right, but if they're doing that now, what do you think they were doing when black people were possessions, were property?
Right.
So I think so. When people understand the level of trauma that black people are going through, and if you go through, if you go to Desert Storm, you come home and then you fucked up about, I can curse, right? Yeah.
Yes, of course.
You come home fucked up because you've been to war, Vietnam, or whatever. You go to therapy. They diagnose you as disabled. You're a disabled veteran, and then you go to therapy. You go to group therapy. You go to single therapy and stuff. And there's this movement to heal mentally, to heal you, or to cope with this. And black people, foundationally black Americans, have nobody's ever stopped and said, okay, we need to give people, slavery just happened. We're 1776 to 1865. We need to stop, and these people need to be consulted, and they need to be made whole again. Not even that might not have been even something that people were thinking about. But then when you talk about Jim Crow, you talk about the redlining, you talk about mass incarceration and stuff, and we are being raised by my mama, like so. So I'm a foundation. My understanding, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I consider myself, my mother was from Virginia, descendants of slaves. My grandfather was Sioux, was 100% Sioux. My mom's lighter, like my mom was passable, white passing. Not that she didn't pass, but she was very light. Zuni, Virginia, very, 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 very light. In fact, when I was a little kid, we used to go to the Chinese restaurant. The Chinese dudes used to hit on her because they thought she was Chinese. But my dad grew up in Harlem. My dad was a youth worker from like 1935. From 1935, he went to World War II. He stormed the beaches of Normandy. But his father was from Antigua. But his mother was from Boston. She was a half black, half white orphan from Boston, where you couldn't be half black, white. So she grew up in an orphanage. But my dad never went to Antigua, and he was a Harlem dude. He was a Harlem kind of hustle street dude, So and on my mother's side is all African American, descendants of slaves, and Native American. Or indigenous. So I think when you don't understand that the trauma for that,
Right.
I went, like I was lucky enough. I mean, I went to SUNY New Paltz. I didn't finish,
Right.
but I mean, but I went to college, and then I was kind of a street dude too. But
Right.
when you have, when you're straddling the streets and home, because like I was lucky enough. I grew up in a brownstone in Brooklyn, in Crown Heights. And my dad bought his house for $11,000. So we're talking about way back, and my dad had 16 brothers and sisters, A and A. But my dad was born 1920, the youngest of 16. We talking about depression. My dad had rickets. He grew up with rickets.
Damn.
Yeah, so this is deep into depression. I remember my dad telling me when he went to France, when he ran up on the beaches in Normandy, and when they went to France, they had told the French, the French children that black soldiers had tails. I don't know if you've heard that.
Yeah, I heard that.
And so when my dad he used to tell me when he walked through France, the little French kids was running behind them trying to look for the tails to see if they were. So, there's so much of this history and of a tragedy, and this constant stress. And black people are so resilient. African Americans are so resilient in the fact that they, you're a professor,
Yes,
like,
sir.
I mean, I'm living, you know what I'm saying? I've been on
100%.
I did Blacklist, I did Power. I mean, just to get to the point where you go through trauma, being raised by people with trauma, and to still have black billionaires is crazy.
It's insane. 100%.
So, I mean, just to have somebody talking about that, from a perspective where you have no idea what you're making these assumptions, where you just don't have the information,
Right.
to make those assumptions.
No, that makes a lot of sense. So here's the thing, man. And you and I have talked offline this weekend. My thing at this point is we got to have a real conversation, in fact, on two things. Number one, as a foundational Black American who also happens to be Godfrey's best friend,
Right.
I have to ask you, a lot of times, like, how can you sit there when he's just like, oh, foundational Black assholes, or fuck them, or y'all calling me a tether, well, fuck you, da 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 da. How about I just don't speak up for you, or I lost deals defending you motherfuckers, talking about foundational Black American women, like.
Right.
What's going through your brain when he's saying this, and how can you sit there calmly while he's disparaging who you consider your people?
So first of all, in my opinion, I don't like. I think Godfrey had been to Nigeria twice, right?
Right.
Godfrey's father was Nigerian, but he was an educator. He taught. Was also an educator. But first of all, I don't know if you know the kind of stress that somebody what an African goes through. I mean, first of all, it's very difficult for Nigerians and Africans to find happiness in the context if you're not going to be an engineer or a doctor or a lawyer. And so for him to be an entertainer in itself is a struggle. That was a struggle for him. In fact, he hid it. He hid being a comic. The reason why his father found out that he was trying to be a comic was because he got busted by his sister, like in one of the first black comedy clubs in I forget the name of the club in Chicago. You might know better than me. The one Bernie Mac. What was it?
Is it Riddles?
Was it black owned?
I believe Riddles was Black owned at the time. I could be wrong, but I know
Bernie Mac was there, and
talking about. Oh shit! It's not Riddles. It's something else.
Yeah, the Riddles doesn't sound like it. But what I'm saying is, to be honest, I don't think he. So this is. I was going to ask you about this, and then we talk about foundationally Black America in terms of who your father was and who your mother was, and I get that. But you know, Godfrey would be considered, if it wasn't for his, you know, unmitigated ability to entertain and so on and so forth, he would be considered a failure as a Nigerian because he's not professional.
To that point,
yeah,
because we're going to circle back to the question, but to that point, he would be considered a failure as a Nigerian,
right?
Because and I know plenty of Nigerians. I do business with Nigerians. I've been around. I'm foundational Black American, but I know how Nigerian parents are. Hell, you hear Ivani Orji talk about this. If you're not a doctor, lawyer, engineer, architect, you are considered a failure. Here's the problem.
Architect is shaky.
An architect is shaky because there's a lot of broke ass architects who can't really draw a straight line. But here's the problem. You can't say in one breath, I'm American, I was born in Nebraska, but you're still raised culturally as Nigerian. He said that both of his parents were in Nigerian groups. So he quote, this is what he said. He said both of his parents were in Nigerian groups. So he got a whole lot of Nigeria coming up. And you literally just said that he had a situation where he could not, as a comedian, like when I decided at 20 years old to enter the Laugh House stand-up open mic contest, you know, it was me and Naeem Lynn who tied. Shout out to my boy Naeem Lynn.
Wow.
Yeah, we lived in the same dorm the whole nine. Anywho and anyhow, I told my mom, I'm doing stand-up now. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Whatever, I got to follow your dreams talk because my mother's a foundational Black American.
Yes.
My dad said, hey, as long as you happy and you ain't killing nobody and you ain't going in no white man's army like me and your stepfather and your grandfather had to do.
And you ain't in jail. Cool. We good.
And you ain't in jail. Oh, no, I went to jail once when I was 4 years old because my dad was a cop. He put me in jail, let me stay the night. I was completely safe. I was in county lockup, so I never wanted to experience that again. Right. So what I'm saying is he is Nigerian to the point where he understands the concept of shame. He understands the concept of playing for his last name. He understands the Nigerian concept of if you're not a doctor, lawyer, something fancy, that everybody in the Nigerian culture, even though they're in America right now, can talk about amongst themselves. He knows good and hell well that he's not Black when it comes to what it means culturally. He was not raised like you and I were raised.
Right. But
that's it.
Okay, but let me say this. But he never fit into that mode at all. Like his and I'm gonna tell you something. Like, what you find a lot of times with so you know, I do relationship consulting, right?
Absolutely.
And a lot of the guys that I counsel, guys who African, Indian, you know, there's this culture where their culture is a burden in a way that they're trying to escape the culture. So you do, and I'm going to tell you something. Like, you know, I hustled. I was hustling a little bit, but
understood.
I couldn't bring that home. You know what I mean? Like, I was in them streets. I was in the streets because I wanted to be in them streets. But but I put on the, you know, when I came home, I helped Miss Johnson with the groceries, and I got good grades, and I never spoke up. I didn't, you know, we didn't curse in the house. It was, you know what I mean? Because you don't, you know, my dad was like, he'd have put it on me. So I think, the fact that you're so, and let's be honest, I'm reluctant to say this, but I mean, I got to be honest. I feel like African Indian, they suck as parents because there's all this. I have an idea about what your life should be. I've done my life, right? And I get it because they come from a perspective of survival as opposed to self-fulfillment. So there ain't really much. There's not a lot of social. like there's not a lot of social. It's like I am the provider. This is what you gonna do because I tell you what to do, and then you fit in whatever else in the cracks. So there's really not like a lot of interaction with parents, and on a other than you do what the fuck I tell you to do. Do you know what I mean? And so and this is what I'm been thinking about this myself. At what point in time are you so far removed from African, Indian, Caribbean culture that you're not like that you become maybe honorary FBA or maybe another category of that because this is all you know?
Here's the thing. It's not all he knows. We've already established it's not all he knows. The other part of that is he can speak the language.
No, he can't.
He can't speak the language?
No.
Okay. I stand corrected. He still grew up in that household. He knows what his daddy is. He knows what his mommy is. And they themselves are Nigerian. Here's the thing. There was a girl I'm going to give you an example so that we can make this completely plain.
Yeah.
I grew up in the Germantown, West Oak Lane section of Philadelphia, right? And there was a girl who lived in the hood with us, and her name was Bobby Joe Palladino. Now, Bobby Joe, if you didn't know Bobby Joe, you would think she was albino because she had her hair cut like how Pepper from Salt and Pepper had her hair cut. Yeah. She had the dookie earrings. She had the chain. The geometric. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? She had a grill. She had the chain, the whole nine. She dressed, walked, talked, acted like us. But when she went home to the Palladino household, she was still Italian. Your bloodline does not change because of how much you're exposed to something. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was in Austin, Texas, programming CBS, and I was programming a pop station, everybody there except for my operations manager and myself was Mexican. Right? And I lived in Texas for a good part of my life. I am still not considered a Mexican. Like, just because you're exposed to something does not mean that you're there. Now, to answer your question from a fair place, he would have to be here for over 400 years, understand what we went through in order to provide the opportunity for his parents to come over here to provide him the American experience and he knows the fact that because, I mean, shoot, you know his whole government name.
Sure.
You understand what I'm saying? There's a certain level of
what I'm saying also is that if I read Edible Negro, we book for book we get down like that.
Absolutely. He's very well read.
So I think what he has a bit of a temper also about that. He kind of, I think that was like, I'm always defending this. Like he's always gone hard for like I mean I've seen him check people all the time where like what you doing, like what the like it ain't you. You wouldn't even be this immigrant. You wouldn't have the ability to come here as immigrants if it wasn't for black people, it wasn't for civil rights and stuff. So I think but then there are FBA assholes who in a lot of cases, they use that moniker, and they use that moniker because it gives them some level of validation, but they ain't shit. And so they're always looking for this thing to differentiate somebody because they're not really in it. They're not really in it either. So I think his response to that, and I mean, I'm speaking for him, and I don't know but I'm speaking for him. It was a frustration of the fact that they was going at him when he's always down for that. I mean, first of all, it's the truth. He's aware of the truth. It's not like he's questioning it or whatever. but I think you can also, we're still human in that when, like I ride for you, and then you coming at me like such and such, and I always tell him, like, and I'm a few years older than him and probably maybe a little mature. Stop flying off the handle for the comments, because this is a faceless, nameless person that's coming at you, and then you flying off the handle, and you don't even know who this person is,
Right.
So I think, and he's done that, and I'll tell you how what a problem that is. Godfrey had 900,000 followers on his Instagram,
Right.
and blew it telling somebody he punched somebody in the mouth or something like that because they was talking slick on the live, and they literally snatched his. We my podcast is growing, and you just start now. Can you imagine you get close to 1 million, and then they snatch your 900,000 followers that you've worked for throughout the years, and you got to start, and he had to start from scratch. So. Yeah. It's that kind of recklessness, that anger, that kind of flying off the handle. I think that's more of a character flaw than it is really understanding how that could be perceived and how it's not perceived. And I mean, I know I'm asking people to go with my take on it, because that's my boy and I love him, and we, my best friend and stuff, but I'm also, like we were talking before, it's like one of my three principles that I live by is an acronym called ACE, just authenticity, tell the truth, credibility, show up and keep your word, and empathy, to understand that other people have gone through things that other people may not be aware of. And I think if you practice those three things, you can't be a better human being. There's no way to be. Yeah, no,
there's no way you can't be. Now hold that thought, because here we got to prioritize our super chats. Big Hurt, thank you for the $5 super chat. Said Dante stood on FBA lineage when that dude got out of pocket. Godfrey is a guest in our culture. He still needs to read the room, and that's my point to you.
Agreed.
And again, I'm not holding you accountable for that, but I'll give you an example. Right? So it's 2005, 2006, and I get a call, because Dr. Laura, who I had known for quite some time, decided to get on the air, and she was just like, yeah, I just don't understand why they say this word. They're just running around here saying nigger, 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 nigger. And they were like, we're going to make a change. We're going to bring in somebody else. We're going to bring in Les Brown, because, even though people were saying what you were saying, well, she's done this, and she's worked with Black people, and she knows this person, and this, that, and the third, and blah, 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 blah. She spoke out of term. She didn't mean it. It's like explaining for bad behavior. Now, in all fairness, everybody has a temper. That's cool. But if you cared about us, and you already know that we have suffered, you already know that people are coming at us, and there's trash in every race. There is poor white trash. There's Mexican trash. There's Indians that live in slums. Like that. You're a grown man who, for a living, stands up in front of other people, crowds of people, sometimes hundreds, sometimes thousands, and then gets on television in front of millions of people, and then says, I have something to say for an hour and a half, and I know how to make people laugh. With that, because you've been in stand-up longer than I have.
Yeah.
There's a certain thing called heckling. If you can't hack heckling, that gets you that upset that you're going to start just throwing it out. And it almost came off like Papa John, like, well, I do this, and maybe I should just stop speaking for you.
Yeah, I get it.
Do you have any idea? Like, and that was going back to my initial question is, how, as a foundational Black American man, did you sit there and let him do that? Like, what was going through your mind when he was getting out of pocket?
So I'm gonna tell you, Godfrey's been doing comedy for about 34 years, right?
Right.
I've been doing his podcast with him for five, maybe close to 6 now. Co-hosting. I come on here and there, but I'm 60, right?
Yeah.
And I'm also pulling on those reins on Godfrey's reigns a lot of times when not just about this, but sometimes a slip of the tongue or going after like I wouldn't have said to that woman, fuck you. You ain't my mother. I wouldn't have said that.
Right.
So I'm always pulling on these reins, and I'm 60 and I'm exhausted.
Right.
And so I just to be honest, I'm tired. And so sometimes it slips through the cracks where I'm not, because he respects me, and if I go, yo, that ain't, that don't sound right. Now, I'm also super particular about what my words are, because you and I spoke about before how 100%. I helped start the Proud Boys by accident.
By accident.
Just
right.
because I didn't understand that people could take your message and delete part of it and then take a portion of it and contort it.
Twist it. Yeah.
And the only way you can stop that, right, is that you have to, so when I talk about the 3 principles, is authenticity, credibility, and empathy. You cannot be a racist if you have empathy.
100%.
You cannot, if you have empathy, you cannot be a racist.
100%.
Because it's just not going to allow you to. And I didn't emphasize the empathy part of my philosophy, and this is how not to say that I didn't say it, but I didn't understand the importance of emphasizing that above even truth and credibility, and that's how it was twisted, and so if anybody wants to check it out, I don't know if you got a chance to listen to it, but the White Haze thing.
Yeah, the White Haze episode on This American Life. This
American Life is that they interviewed me and how I got involved, how I, basically was one of the founders. They were calling me the spiritual advisor, the Pope of the Proud Boys, just because I was talking to briefly. I mean, this was a bunch of white boys who just were afraid of women. They were incels and afraid of women, afraid of getting rejected. And so they, and this would be a situation where they would just be scattered across the world. But with the internet, they were able to bring these weirdos together. And then they were great with computers, because what else would they be good at? And then they were able to organize online globally. So I had pulled back from I would go on Gavin McInnes's show, and it would, and they would sanitize it where there would be no racial stuff being said. But then, and then I'm doing my own thing. I'm doing my own podcast, doing shows. I was acting. I did the movie Fighting. I was in Power. I was doing my own thing. So I wasn't monitoring. And then I would come back again. And then the Proud Boys were every time I came back, it was a little more developed. I stopped on the Facebook page, right? And this is how long ago it was a Facebook page. And I'm like, niggas, monkey, this, that, and I was like, whoa. And I spoke to Gavin McInnes. Gavin did an open letter saying that we need to move away from this racial stuff. We can't have that, which is crazy to me that he actually did an open letter, right? Mm-hmm. And then I chilled, kept doing my life. I went back again, and then they had the song and the name, and it just kept evolving. And and then the next thing I know, I saw the racial stuff, and I started distancing myself. The next time I heard anything about the Proud Boys, the FBI was at my house. Not the FBA, the FBI was in my house trying to get me to do Black Klansmen and go back in, because there was a chapter in Venezuela trying to overthrow the government. So, and this was like something that happened and had bubbled up. It was a fester. So I understand the importance of words and how they're taken and stuff like that. And I think, I think that sometimes Godfrey is, first of all, I also told you, you were telling me about you having AUHD. Godfrey
Yes,
has
ADHD.
He has extreme ADHD.
Right.
You know, a lot of times I'm on the phone with him talking about something serious, and I can hear him scrolling on Instagram while he's, you know. And I
Right.
love him to death because he got a good heart and he's a good dude and
Right.
he's stand-up dude and whatever. But, you know, you take your friends as you take them and with their flaws and stuff like that. And there's been so many times that I've, you know, pulled on the reins or be like, kick him under the table or whatever. But there's a reason also why Godfrey has been in the industry for 34 years, probably one of the most talented and most entertaining comics that I've ever seen in my life. And I mean that, bar none, right?
Oh, yeah.
But the fact that he's just breaking now.
Right.
Because
that happens. Yeah.
Well, I'm saying it didn't happen because a lot of times Godfrey has put his foot in his mouth.
Yes. And that's the thing. Hold on. I want to stop right there because I got to acknowledge these super chats. There's well over 1,000 people watching right now. And if you have not clicked that like button or the subscribe button, I invite you to right now. Super chats are getting prioritized. TMG, been a YouTube member, been a YouTube member for 2 months. And may God bless you, my brother in Christ. Keep going. Appreciate you. Thank you for the love. This is Sir Repro Music. Thank you for the $5 super sticker. Really appreciate that. Yogi Fish with the $2 super chat said, respect to Dante for doing this interview. Absolutely, because he doesn't have to be here. Happy he is here because like these are not easy questions to answer. And he is not Godfrey, even though we're going to get to absolutely everything. If you have a question that you want to have asked directly, make sure that you hit the super chats because I mean, just in the 2 seconds I've been talking, like another 55 messages have just popped up. Sexy Red with the $5 super chat said, there's a time and a place for everything. Godfrey showed FBA what his behind the curtain, his true African colors are. So to that point, and again, I just want you to answer this question. Sure. What went through your head when he started going off?
He's angry, upset, and he's going off again. And this is probably not going to be good.
Right. So to that point, again, in all fairness, you're right. I do have ADHD, and it's hard because I told you this. I'll do an entire, I'll do a 2-hour talk, and then I'll do another 45 minutes of Q&A, and I'll get off the stage, and my team will be like, "Yo, Dave, you killed that." I'll be like, "Cool, what'd I say?" Or I'll go do the Breakfast Club, or when I come to do your show next week, I'll be sitting there, and I'll go back and watch the replay, like, "Damn, that nigga's spitting," because I'm not there. So I get that part of it. However, I do still in the back of my mind, and maybe I've gone through different training and therapies than what Godfrey has gone through.
Oh, definitely.
But
I would say
I'm still responsible.
Yeah. I get it.
For everything that I say. I'm responsible for everything that I say as a business owner, right? And I've got a team. I've got people, like I've got clipper farms. And those are people who just take YouTube videos and they clip them up for coaches, speakers, authors, entertainers. You get what I'm saying? If somebody messes up, they're not talking to G, they're not talking to Michelle, they're not talking to Carla, they're not talking to they're talking to me because I am the face on the package. It ain't in Dante we trust, it's in Godfrey we trust. Then how is it he has ADHD when he goes off on foundational Black Americans, especially that woman who called in and he got upset, got triggered about the whole Karen Hunter thing? And for the record, I don't know the lady, but I don't really like her. I don't think we see eye to eye on a lot of stuff, and I think she's got an issue with strong Black men, but that's a whole nother conversation. He took it out. Thank you. I'll be here all week. The veal is delicious, 2 out of minimum. But here's my problem. Better yet, I'm gonna show you better than I can tell you. Godfrey has no problem at any time having ADHD when he's going off on Black people, but where was the ADHD when he's talking to Lebo N? Let's watch.
A formal apology to you. I have no problem with that because I appreciate you. First of all, I'm having fun with you. I think you're awesome. So we're gonna be friends. We already know we're gonna be hanging out. So, but I want to issue an apology of not knowing and being emotional, just as a protection of another comedian. Like, yo, man, because as a composer, you know, you could be with Hans Zimmer going, nah, man, sue them, right? And I understand that. And I'm in the comedy world. He's like an NFL, he's gonna talk like with his bros. So I want to apologize to you for being misinformed and reacting that way. But now that I know it, and like I said, this is to bridge. This is what we do. We all the same. We come in the same cloth.
Yeah.
We are real family, and we're supposed to talk like this.
And we're supposed to.
You're supposed to call me out on my.
Yeah.
And I, my man, let me shake your hand, man.
Let's stop right there. You're supposed to call me out on my ish. That's what he said. I didn't make that up. You agree that that's not AI, that's an actual right. So he understands enough to respect this African man because the other African guy made fun. He was trying to make a joke about whatever.
Right.
How come? Because you said, not me, you said that Godfrey has embraced the community. He loves the community. He's well-read. He understands where it is. He was born in Nebraska, all of these things. Why is it he does not have the wherewithal to say, you know what, y'all? Maybe what I said was extremely insensitive. Maybe what I said was disrespectful. I can see how y'all feel that way. I got frustrated in the moment. For the people who have broken their ass, and I've said it thousands of times over the past 3 decades, for the people who have broken their asses and shed blood for me to be here, I sincerely and humbly apologize. How come he can't do that with us, but he can do it with a guy he only met once?
I honestly, to be honest, I mean, I'm putting the cart before the horse. I don't perceive the fact that he wouldn't do the same for FBAs if he was if it was explained to him.
Well, I mean, and
that is exactly why I reached out to you.
Right, and again, to be
so I mean, this
clear,
I get the question.
Yeah, no, I just want to let the audience know. To be completely clear, next Tuesday I'm going to New York. We're going to sit down and do In Godfrey We Trust. That's confirmed, correct?
Yeah. Well, yeah, pretty much. I mean, we are going to come on. I mean, we're setting it up for next week. But I mean, sometimes he's, depending on if he gets a part or whatever. But yeah, for all intents and purposes.
For all intents and purposes, right now, we're going to sit down and have that conversation. But my whole thing is, if he understands there to apologize, nobody should have to point this out to him if he has such an understanding of our culture as that would be.
How old are you, Dave? How old are you?
I'll be 49 in November.
Okay, I'm gonna maybe I'm gonna give you some old nigga wisdom. What you think motherfuckers should have at a period of time, they don't always have it. They don't. They can't always put the pieces together on their own. And what I've found is, in general, like I say this all the time, that I have this saying, I say true wisdom is the understanding of underlying concepts, how they relate to situations that seem irrelevant but really are not. So you'll find people who are really good at one thing, but their knowledge is compartmentalized in a particular area, but they're not able to take those cosmic and universal truths and move them to other situations. Simply just can't do it. Can't, I mean, I've been in situations where I've had discussions with somebody. I was hanging out with a bunch of surgeons, and we were talking about cars, and I can if you know something, because I was a biomedical. I was a biomedical. That was my major in college,
right.
And so I would, we were talking about cars, and we were talking about the cooling system is in the car, radiator, the antifreeze, stuff like that. But it works the same way that the body cools the body, where the human body releases water through the pores.
It sweats.
The heat evaporates the water off the skin, and as it evaporates, it takes the heat away. The same way that the body, a car will do it with a radiator. But the radiator heat goes to a radiator with a wide surface area. The air bounces off and it cools the car. But I can put those things together that seem very irrelevant, right? But a lot of people can't. And there's people that compartmentalize. I mean, I find this, especially like I do a lot of when I do the relationship consulting, I get a lot of Indian dudes because You know, they have a antiquated way in which they approach women, and then all of a sudden you don't have those arranged marriages, and you can't throw a rock at your woman because she's acting up no more, and now she's in America and she has her freedom and she's talking back, and you ain't got that game to be like, hey yo, let me holler at you for a second. So it takes a certain level of confidence, but the same way you would handle that is the same way that you program. It's logic. I mean, it's A, if not A, then B, if not B, then, you know what I mean?
You're right.
And so a lot of times I'll explain it to them. I'll explain, relationships in the context of, but a lot of people can't do that. And that's why one of the things that I say is two things that you will have to do for the rest of your life is ask for forgiveness and give forgiveness. That is the human condition.
100%. Let's go to some super chats here. This is Keith Cord 6254 with the $20 super chat said all we needed from Godfrey was to take accountability and apologize the same way he asked Vlad to do when Vlad was disrespecting the minister. Let me keep going. CJOJ with the $10 super chat said, I think Godfrey made a mistake and should have apologized and left it there, but he has a temper with everything, not just this. He's pro-black and supportive of all black people. David made a mistake too. Man, respectfully, we're going to get to the David Oyelowo thing. We're not there yet, but we're going to get there because April Ray. That's a hell of a name. $2 super chat says Dante stands on business. So that's a salute to you, good brother.
Thank you.
And assistant to the HNIC said Godfrey said what rehearsing and reading don't control your heart. Hashtag guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. They get more numbers. This talk will be regular. Repro Music says, what's an honorary FBA? No, he not. Stop it. Yeah, no, you can't sideline your way into a bloodline. I'll be chill with the $4.99 super chat. Yeah, but I think a union member says, great show, keep cooking. And Big Hurt with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Says Godfrey is not the FBA whisperer because he reads FBA books and met FBA icons. Yeah, that was the other thing. It almost sounded like, do you remember Donald Sterling?
Yes.
Well, I did this for these black people and Magic Johnson and like, who you met does not mean that you can just say whatever the hell you want.
I'm not gonna argue for stuff that I just that I wouldn't say for myself. And if it gets too hot, I in a minute I'll be like, I ain't say it. You know what I mean? There's always I always got the.
You mean like when Godfrey said, I didn't tell him to say that black people, Southern black people, you take a Nigerian accent and you slow it down.
Let me tell you something.
You put some slavery in it.
There's your friends, right?
Right.
And I spoke to Godfrey like when that went down and he was going down the list, right? Southern, the British, this, that, Jamaican, the Caribbean, whatever, right? And he's going down the list and he's sitting there watching the looking at the card and he's reading it off, right? When I saw him, I knew he wasn't present. Like I just knew he was, and I mean, it's just you just know because you're around people so much, and it's just like, for instance, if like you said, you've done whole talks, and where you be cooking, I don't know, your boy might be like, oh, he's cooking, he don't even know what, like he's just on some stream of consciousness. He has no, he'll get off and not.
I haven't written a speech since '91. I'm with you.
Right. So when I saw him sitting back in the chair, I mean. And I'm not making excuses for it because what's wrong is wrong. But when little
bit, Dante.
Nah, Doug, I'm really not. I mean, I look, it is what it is, and it's wrong, and it's just not the best thing to say. But it was the wrong choice of words, wrong energy, wrong level of anger. But this is one of the things that I say on my podcast all the time. Never let emotion have a seat at the table, because the minute you allow emotion to have a seat at the table. You can count on your proficiency at what you do know, the knowledge that you know, cut it down 2/3. Cut it down to 1/3 because that fight or flight thing happens, and you can't even access the knowledge that you have because you're in that fight or flight mode. And
100%.
You know, and I'm always saying that. I mean, you have to remove yourself from, which is an impossibility because we all get emotional about certain things, but the point is, if you do that, this is where the mistakes are made. And there's no doubt in my mind that what I'm saying about what his feelings are. I mean, that's my man. I mean, we speak to each other, if not every day, every other day, and it's just not it's just not his energy. It's just not. He just don't get down like that. And you
so he just had no. I mean, listen, you've known him longer than I have. I've only met the man 3 times in my life, and I've met him more times than he's been to Nigeria, apparently. Right. But $10 super chat from the Iceman said Dante's on more grown man shit than Godfrey right now. Respect to him, but Godfrey is too old to need a go between because he didn't need one for label. #305 #B1 #cut the check. So that's my point. He did not. Let me
explain something. Did you realize that when he talked to Lebo, right? When Lebo was like, "Oh, it was a joke," with no consideration of that the thing would be that it
would blow up like it did, which is the same thing with Oyelowo.
And neither did I until it did. But my thing is, if you like I said, you got the rest of your life you're gonna ask for forgiveness or give forgiveness. Or not, you know what I mean? But the reality is we make mistakes, and the ability or the desire to recognize that you made a mistake and fix it and is what it is. So
and that's the thing. He recognized that mistake, and maybe do we need to have the threat of suing him for $27 million so that we can? It was that. But what I'm saying is, I'm trying to make it make sense, because if he understands in one instance that something blew up that he didn't intend for it to blow up, and something that happened set off somebody or a group of somebodies or a lineage of somebodies who did not like. And I'm not talking about the folks on the extreme. I'm not talking about the folks who are insulted. People of my bloodline, people of what you say is your bloodline, feeling like you out of pocket. Like, homie,
fair enough.
Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? But he knew enough to make sure that he could apologize to this man, reach out and shake his hand. But he could not. He has not. It's been about 3 weeks, bro. Been about 3 weeks, and we have not gotten an apology for him. Number one, disrespecting a black woman. Number two, acting like he's somehow lost something for standing up for black women, when black women are one of the top advertising demographics on the face of the planet. That doesn't hold up well under scrutiny. And then number three, to act as if it's somehow our fault that we had a reaction to his ADHD that he has yet to find a way to control when it comes to his temper. I don't think
it's any of those things. I
mean, tell me what you think it is. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
It's not. It's just not being aware. It's just a lack of self-awareness. I mean, I often when I watch him on stage, and we were talking about this, I watch him do an hour and a half. I watch him do 8 shows, an hour and a half, different material for 8 shows, and then watch him oversight and say something that's out of pocket, and I'm going, yo, you know, and we have a relationship where I go, I'll call him out, yo, you got a minute? And he'll be like, what I do, you know, what I do, and I'll explain it to him, and he'll go, but we have the relationship, you know, we have a relationship where that is the case. He like my little brother. I mean, it's the only way I could do it, and a way I could say it. I'm just saying, and never is there a situation where I've never seen him be malicious in that way, or it's just not his way. And to tell you honestly, I'm more malicious. Like I'm about, you know, like if you pushing up, I'm about to smoke. Like I have a. And I mean, you know, I get that a lot, and it's like, I have this theory. It's a theory called 95, 2, and 3. 95% of the motherfuckers in the world don't want no smoke. 95%. 5% of the people in the world is about that smoke, right?
Right.
3% of them are sociopaths who just want the smoke and indiscriminately step on toes. And then there's 2% that protect the 95 from the sociopaths, right? I like to think of myself, I'm an old man now, but I've always been that 2%, right?
Right. 100%. I feel you.
So if I'm disrespectful,
right,
I'm probably if I'm disrespectful, I am not only I'm indignant about my disrespect, because I want you to know, fuck you. I want you to understand. Fuck you and whatever, wherever it goes from there.
As a staff record label and crew, I get it.
No, it ain't like you haven't misconstrued my disrespect. I don't like you, and and Godfrey's just not that. It's just not. That's why he's my man. That's why when we go to Baltimore, I go with him, because my head is on the swivel. You know what I'm saying, and he's not. I give you the example. We was at the Baltimore Economy Factory. I love Baltimore because Baltimore's hood like Brooklyn. There's a very thin line between Brooklyn and Baltimore, and we went there and it's a lot of hood comics that go to Baltimore Comedy Factory. And Godfrey's 100%. One of the few that where his material is just not that. But he stays within the context of himself and his own personality, and he lifts them up. I have a problem with a lot of black comics who bring them down as opposed to lift them up. Right? Like there's a couple of stories, but my point was, there was some grimy niggas hanging around the green room. So I'm on the swivel, and and Godfrey's like, hi, good to meet you there, and I'm watching this, like I could tell when there's some real niggas in the room, there's a disturbance in the force. And I'm looking, I'm like, Godfrey, yo, get your stuff together. He's like, what? I'm like, get your clothes, get your shit together, right? Because I think something's gonna jump off. And the dude comes in, and I go, yo, what's up? And he was like, yo, could we get a picture? And I'm like, you grimy niggas, y'all niggas, come on, man. What are you doing? Come on, you got me. You know what I'm saying? I'm cocking the Glock, and this, and they just want a picture with him. So, I had another situation where we had the conversation about hip hop and Puerto Ricans, and a couple years ago we had Crazy Legs on it, right? Right. And there was a dude that came with Crazy Legs. Godfrey says, I don't like nobody. Yo, you don't like nobody. I said, no, it's not that I don't like nobody. It's just you missing the clues, dude. You wide open, and I'm not, because I know what it is. I've been shot at. I've been, I've been stabbed twice. It's my head. So, but the dude came in with Crazy Legs, and I go, hey, I never met him. I was like, crazy, pleasure to meet you, man. Big fan, blah, 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 blah. He had this other dude named Rob Puerto Rico or Rob Cuban or whatever the fuck his name was. And I was like, oh, man, good to meet you, too. And he goes, I go, what's your name? And he goes, oh, I'm Crazy Legs. And I'm going, what do you mean crazy? He goes, yo, I go, he goes, oh, well, I'm Rob's, whatever the fuck his name was. And I go, and I realized that he got a bug up his ass because Godfrey was saying that hip hop was foundationally black. You can't, it is what it is, right? It is. Right. And so he had said it on the show, and so they were coming to put their 2 cents in about this is how we were in the how hip hop grew, right?
Right.
Which Crazy Lake said an interesting thing. I won't get into it unless you don't want to get into it. But the point was, the dude that was with him had a bug up his ass, and he was giving me shade. So I was like, what's your name? Rob Venezuelan? What the fuck are you? Like, so now I'm on full fuck you mode, right?
Right.
This nigga. Then he goes, yo, is your man going, Godfrey, because your man going to sit in on that? Nah, that nigga ain't sitting in. Fuck out of here. Go in. So now I'm back on the block. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm like, fuck you. And Godfrey's like, I whispered to Godfrey, yo, I don't like that dude. Why? He just got here. He's looking at me like it was 2 minutes. What the? I was like, dog, just understand what I'm saying. Naturally, at the end, he tried to fucking go at Godfrey at the end of the show. Yo, you said this. Like, yo, man, shut up. Like, I'm punking him, right? Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying is just he just doesn't have that awareness all the time, and it's really not personal, and it's really not. He misses it. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I've known him, there's never a situation where he's been pointed out to show where, yo, this was kind of fucked up, where he won't apologize. And I don't see it a situation where he wouldn't. But now here's the other thing. I mean, in real time, we're talking about I don't know what the clock is.
We're down. No. Let me help you out. Okay. Because apparently Dante don't know, ladies and gentlemen, that we're now on, what is it? Day 3. Day 3. Listen, man, we got a theme song and everything. No, let's give it to him.
Okay.
So you don't know.
But I'm gonna say this.
Pull up tomorrow. You say you don't know me, but you follow. Talking on like a...
All right, in all seriousness, let's go.
What I'm saying, bro? What I'm saying is, since then, I know that he has been out to LA to shoot 3 podcasts there. He's done I think he just did Drink Champs. He just did whereas and I mean and I'm not making, like, again, and it sounds like I'm making excuses, but I mean I've called. Nah, I'm not. It just is what
you
it
said.
is.
It sounds like you're making excuses. I'm agreeing with you.
Would not,
I said a little bit. I didn't say you putting a cape on for him.
Dave,
I ain't say you was shilling for him. I ain't say you was dancing for him. I agreed with your assessment that it sounds like.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Bit. Words mean things. See how I know that? That's because I got my ADHD medicine. We're gonna get Godfrey some. I'm gonna bring him some samples. Bring him some samples.
You giving me that Philly smoke now? Stop.
It's love. Real quick, before we go any further, I gotta acknowledge these folks because these people are in here spending their time with us. We love to play. Thank you so much. You just became a YouTube member. You're about to thank the YouTube member. Thank you for being here. Jazzy Sunflowers, the $5 super chat, said, great live. As Godfrey apologized to that very nice lady caller, he was extremely rude. She didn't deserve that. I'm late and we'll watch the replay. Before you answer that, let's give some context. I want to make sure that I am, not that one. Where is it? No, it's this one. Here we go. All right, so I am going to play here. Let's do it like this. All right, shout out to Fawcett Media for this clip.
Her saying that, look at her now. She wants to jump on David Oyelowo because she don't have nothing else to talk about, so she gonna jump on my podcast, which is a dope ass podcast. And by the way, David Oyelowo has apologized, but British black people do not have a perspective of American blacks.
Get it.
But the fact is that these mistakes need to happen, so we can talk about it, so we can have people going, damn, I fucked up.
Yes, they definitely have to, but the person in their apology actually has to be sincere. And I would say, from David's apology, he still kind of skirted around any fault on his own. He's like,
and again, the David part ain't the
it's
issue.
Not the point.
The issue, as far as I can see it, is that, how can I put this? You were in the room, and then now it's like, okay, Karen Hunter jumped on it because you got a beef with Karen Hunter. You're making everybody else who's pissed off at what David Oyelowo said pay for it. And again, I know a lot of people may not have seen or heard what David Oyelowo said. So I want to play the interaction, and then I want to get your feedback. Then we're going to go to super chats. All right, fair enough?
Sure.
All right, let's roll.
Father.
Godfrey, hey, how are you today? Go and get my cane. Go and get my cane. I remember that. Woo. You imagine you have to go and get the cane for yourself.
Oh yeah, but go and get my cane.
I don't know where it is.
You'll be flogged.
Yeah.
American.
Father? Or just American?
No, American. This is an American accent.
Did I try and be Godfrey?
Uh-oh. Get on back now.
What are you saying now?
I don't know.
I don't know.
How do I sound?
I don't know. How do you sound, Godfrey? Why are we doing this? Why are we getting more crazy every time I'm talking like Godfrey?
How about Southerner?
How about what?
A Southerner.
Well.
Now this the part. Listen to your corner and watch for the hook.
My
I'm being
internet
Southerner.
is cutting out.
Well, you know what? You know what happens to Southerners?
Snap, nigga.
If you take the Nigerian accent like this and you slow it down, you put a lot of slavery in there.
Facts.
And then you start to
Dante, did you hear that? Did you hear the facts part? I know you're saying he wasn't there.
Nigga, you
In his
know
head.
I felt it. You already know I felt when this. I was like, oh, this nigga didn't really. Oof.
Facts. This is
But
why.
I'm gonna tell you, when I'm looking at Godfrey and he's sitting back reading that card, I already know he's not there. Like he's not. His focus is not there. And I'm not saying he should be there. I mean, this is something that I took because when I spoke to him afterwards, he was like, he literally said to me, "What did I say?" And I was like, you know, I mean, but you know, this is my life too, because I love him to death, and I I got his back, and I'm always, yo, come on, dog, what do you think?
Hold on, let me get to these super chats, and I'll play the rest of this clip. Let's see here. Hold on 1 second. FU2 says Godfrey was a pre-med psychiatry major. He's read all of these books, but now when it comes to foundational Black Americans being disrespected, he doesn't know anything. $5 super chat from Nini28. First time catching you live. Is Dante saying that Godfrey is being disrespectful because he's not situationally aware?
Sometimes.
You want to answer that?
Yes, sometimes. Yeah, definitely. That's exactly.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nini. Appreciate the $5 super.
Thanks for helping me put it in words.
Teddy P $2 says David and Dante on the same pod needs to happen. Are you talking about Oyelowo or me? Because I'm Dave. I'm not David. My mama and the IRS call me David. That's about it. The Iceman with the $5 super chat. No shade to Dante, but in the words of a wise man, this could have been an email. You know what? Y'all gonna be nice to my guest. He ain't got to be here. Be nice.
See, this is the thing. When you playing some fuck shit, I just let it take the $5. If you need to give me a little smoke so my man Professor can get the $5, it's fine, nigga. Nigga, go take a pottery class, nigga. Shut up, stupid.
Yo, that's wild. Let's see here. Dimples 718 with the $10 super chat said, salute to you, Dave. Godfrey should have been here cleaning this mess up, not you, Dante. You're somewhat guilty by association. This is why we delineate from tethers. FBAs are standing on business. Shout out to Dimples. You don't got nothing to say about what Dimples said.
Just so you know, she's a cutie, so I'm not gonna give her all the smoke.
And it's 718, so you already know it's New York.
That's what I'm saying. The reality was, I reached out to Dave.
Yes, he did.
And I reached out to Dave to bring him on to have the conversation. And then Dave asked me to come on his show. So, but you know what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying with the internet. It's time. Like, if you don't know that I reached, you know what I'm saying?
He definitely reached out. Like, because he saw, he came through, he reached out, and then I invited him on because I didn't know when we were going to be able, or if we were going to be able to have an Godfrey Reach conversation.
We were planning on doing it tomorrow, but
there was already something that was
he
booked.
had something planned and stuff like that, and a lot of times the podcast is very impromptu because it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It you know, that sometimes it's not really like, it's not like we produce the show. It's not really guests based produced. It's usually just us talking, yapping. But but I reached out, and then Dave said, "Well, come on my show. You know, when can you coming?" And I was like, "I'm good Monday. Let's do it." So
and again, I'm happy that he is here, because then we can have a conversation. So a lot of this, you know, gets out of the way. But my main thing is understanding that, one, he reached out to me because he already knew. And the other part of that is, like, because there are people like, well, you ain't grinding him up. You didn't this, that, and that. I said, first of all, I ain't gotten in the room with Godfrey yet. And to me, I don't need to like, I'm almost 50 years old. Me yelling and screaming and doing all that extra shit just to make a point like, yo, you out of pocket and you need to apologize. It's a bit much. I don't really, I mean, so what I am going to do is still be exactly who I am, which is, you know, Dave being Dave and calling balls and strikes and saying, listen, homie, like, that's not going to fly. Speaking of which, this is what I did want to ask you before we play the rest of this clip. Matter of fact, let me see if I can airdrop. I don't even think I need to airdrop it. I think I might be able to just pull it up here. Hold on one second. Let me see. Bear with me. Hold on. Let me see here. People you. Yeah. Okay. So I found so this man has been following me for years. So my question is, did he unfollow me and refollow me 2 days ago, or was that you?
It probably was me.
What'd you do that for, Dante?
I probably did it by accident, honestly.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
I probably did it by accident.
I was making sure he wasn't trying to do no cleanup.
No, because I was looking for your number and I didn't have it, and that's probably me. I'll take care of that later. But wait, let me see something real quick.
Yeah. Hold on. Why are you doing that? The John JC says, why Dave in his son's room? First of all, I don't have sons, I have daughters. Second of all, this is my room. The difference between me and you is I'm rich, bitch, and I got what I want. I got Killmonger on my wall. I got a Stormbreaker over here. I have Ted DiBiase's actual $1 million championship on my wall, which you can't afford. I got Iron Man. I got Captain America's shield. I got Black Captain America. And, like, I got what I want because I can do that. So I'm not in my son's room. You know, I'm actually going to be in your mama's house later. So meet me there. Sorry.
This is my thing with the, you know, it don't bother me. Like, you know, I get somebody's getting at me with a letter T, right? He don't even got a picture in his profile. And I'm not gonna, I don't really get.
I mean, when there's an opportunity to be funny and roast somebody, I'm gonna just be funny and roast somebody. Always bet on black.
Yeah.
$4.99 super chat says, I bet Flea God is situationally aware when he's in front of those white T folks. The damage control is not working. FBA has spoken. Dante is questionable. Listen, again, the man reached out to me. The man reached out to me. He could have just let this whole thing blow over.
As fine as she is, let's talk about it. See what kind of questions you got. I want to know. Hit me up in the DMs. Let's talk about what your questions are. If you have any questions, I'd love.
You don't want to talk about no questions.
I'd love to answer anything you want to know.
Horrible. All right, so let me get back because I got to make sure I play the rest of this because I don't want to leave folks hanging for people who didn't see it. All right, so we're back to this. Let's roll this clip.
It's the business, right?
This is what wants to happen.
Yeah.
To the Nigerian accent,
Man.
It goes this because literally, if you're down here and you start to speed it up, and then you start to take all the thing out of it, then before you know it, you're talking like this.
Now we are free again.
Now we are free.
Yep, right there.
Yeah.
Right there. Yep. You see how uncomfortable you are right now?
Well,
that's how we felt watching this.
Sure, but let me say this: when he goes, "Oh, did this," I already know he's not locked in. Not locked in.
He's not.
It's just performative. It's like I mean, and this is from going on the road with him, watching him do comedy. When he's not, it's just he's not even paying attention right now. I just know my man when he's locked in and not. And I think this was like the third hour and a half, 2 hour podcast he did that day, and this dude came late. I mean, and not, you know what I'm saying? There's a whole lot of
there's a whole lot of things behind the scenes that have happened that nobody knows
me,
about.
Dante,
right?
why isn't Dante? Yeah, I reached out, like,
yeah,
but
well, he
but you don't.
He did. He hit me.
If you don't know, you don't know, and then you start. Let me explain something to y'all. Everybody out there, the internet ain't real. It ain't real. All of the rah-rah shit, the this, that, yo, motherfucker, all that beef, this, that. Look, fucking 6ix9ine turned in Crips and Bloods, and he's walking around with cash. I think he got his ass beat once. Everybody's gangster. I don't want to hear about anybody gangster, and 6ix9ine is still walking around with rainbow teeth. Where stop it.
Said rainbow teeth is wild. All right, hold on real quick. Let's go. I think that there are a lot of online gangsters, both
broadband bullies.
That's wild. I like that. That's going in the lexicon. But let's get back to business.
Free. We are released.
Hey, Nigerian father.
That whole clip.
It's cringe.
It's cringe. Speaking of which, and hold up. It just hit me. Bro. Here is where the Godfrey grew up in Chicago argument falls apart. Now I'm gonna show you exactly where. Hold on. Wait 1 second. Not here. Hold on. Let's see here. Let's find it in real time, people. Hold on. 154. And guys, keep the super chats coming. Keep your questions coming. Let's find it. Hold on. Here we go. Here we go.
But it's not always
You
accurate.
imitate your dad. I imitate my dad.
Yeah.
And we're exactly.
Akbar. Akbar is where that entire argument, I grew up around black people, fall apart. Because respectfully, Akbar is the most milquetoast, generic, great value NFL player I have ever seen in my life. This man does not have a clue about anything. And it's like he's willful about it. Even when he said, and I got to pull that clip. I didn't have time to pull that clip. Even when he said, when Godfrey was breaking down to him very kindly, very succinctly, very eloquently, in my personal opinion, the contributions that foundational Black Americans have made. Sorry, this is the wrong one.
Did you play that one? Did you play that?
I'm about
clip?
no. Okay. I'm going to play. I'm going to play it because I'm looking for it. That's why I have you up here. But that foundational Black Americans have made. Let me see. Godfrey explains Black American con.
I want to just point out again that young lady who has questions. Don't forget to hit me up on the DM. We can talk about your questions.
You're talking about always better on Black.
Oh, if you got any questions, just
right.
You want to know anything.
Just feel free. You have a special press conference after this just for her. Elevated Engineering 6515 with the 499 super chat said, "Let's go, Dave." I'm gonna pull this clip. Hold tight 1 second. Let me see. You say you don't know me, but you follow.
And I want to say this is interesting because even so I think also what spiced the whole thing up was the fact that this the chick that called in was shilling for Karen.
It's so easy.
If you look at like Karen's fans, they think Karen walks on water. And 100%. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I got my issues. My issues. I've said this, and I've said this to her, so I'm not, saying nothing behind her back. But my issue with her is interpersonal, and what you said is I agree 100%. She has a problem with strong black men, and I co-hosted her show for 5 years plus, the Friday, and literally while I was there, she would be interviewing other people while I was on air, like for my position. So I was there, me, and then there's also my boy Lamont who does a show with Dr. Carr.
Lamont, Lamont King?
Yes.
Yeah, that's my man.
So we were
Lamont 25 years.
We were on the show every Friday, and she would be interviewing other comics while we were in the studio. And then several times I've had situations where people from Karen's crew. Now let me give kudos, because her Nubia and her platform, where she's taught Netaroo, and the fact that she does In Class with Carr. I mean, she's done some great things for the culture. But interpersonally, it's like, if I'm your man, like, why would you interview people, me, and then when I got fired, it wasn't a phone call from her. It was her production guy, white kid, who called me up. Yeah, we're gonna go in another direction. So 5 years I'm showing up every Friday religiously. Never got a dime, never got parking, never got gas, nothing, right? Showing up, bringing the funny, and then you're interviewing people. You're interviewing people while me and Lamont was in the studio. And Lamont was lucky enough. I mean, I won't say lucky because he put the time in, but the Black Eagle, I forget the brother's name, who, when he passed away on Sirius Radio, that spot opened up, and then Lamont and Dr. Carr were able to. That's why they do their show on Sirius.
Right.
But after Godfrey went off, I hadn't spoke to Karen. I called Karen because I thought, even if you don't want me to be on your show, you don't owe me nothing. But I 100%. Thought we would still be close. And I had called her, never returned my calls, never this, never that. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, once she fired me, it was just nothing. And then when Godfrey freaked out, she texted me, yo, how you gonna let this man da-da-da-da-da? And I thought you stand on business. I'm like, yeah, I stand on business. Somebody who returns my calls. Like, if you don't return my calls, don't ask me.
Yeah, don't expect my loyalty.
Oh, so it's crazy. So even that is, and I said, even you, and I listed every problem that I had interpersonally. The fact that, you didn't return my calls. You interviewed people while I was there. You were, you didn't even have the decency to have a conversation with me when you fired me. And she goes, well, I thought you was about standing on business. And I was like, I have the text message. I was like, so I named 7 things, and the only thing you talked about is that I'm disloyal. You're not going to address You're not going to address nothing. So, but it is what it is. And don't get me wrong. I think what happened was with Karen. Karen asked Godfrey to do the show, and he said, "Look, I'm not even really, because I don't want to do nothing corporate, because I don't want you to tell me what to say or this or that, the other." And then Godfrey got into it with this gay dude, and who was being shitty, because one of his fans wanted to take a picture with him, and Godfrey, he complied and didn't take the picture, or they had to go outside and take the picture. But then he went on Laura Coates, and he talked about what happened, and when he described the gay dude, he did the gay voice, which was accurate, and he said that he would have snatched the dude's braids, and that was why he got fired.
Huh. Yeah, that's some oddball shit. Real quick, I wanna go ahead and I got 2 clips I want to play, and we'll react to. Again, fair is fair, but this in no way, shape, or form. But to Dante's point, I do want to play clips where I've seen Godfrey educate on what it means to have an understanding, at least on paper,
of what it is.
So let's rock and roll.
Been burned up because a white woman said she got raped.
Yep.
Hold on, let me.
You got Lanier to town of Lanier, which is under. There's 7 black towns that are drowned underwater.
And it's scary because people be dying at Lake
They
Lanier
die
all the
good.
time.
They die from spirits dragging
It's scary,
them.
yeah.
So they have flooded black neighborhoods with
Yeah.
rivers. They have Seneca Village. It used to. Now it's Central Park in New York.
The 10 freeway. The 10 freeway.
Notice how completely numb Akbar is, but he grew up in Crenshaw.
Yeah. Okay. So let me give you a little. I don't know Akbar, right?
Right.
But
And I'm not holding you accountable
right.
for
But
Akbar.
I
Don't get it
also
twisted.
I watch the show and I go, like, this is so milquetoast. It's like none of this even.
Freeway
like,
right here
that's
used
right.
to be West Adams. Phil.
My bad.
But beyond that, here's the other thing. This is something again
With the most important black.
Yeah,
folk in
they
America.
build freeways through black neighborhoods. They put.
Go on, I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, he he's getting ready to talk about Robert Moses and the racist civil engineer, and also he has Godfrey has a photo. It's weird because he has a photogenic memory, like he rattles it off. But also when he zones out, it's running on auto, and. So now you gotta like even his posture, like when he's talking, I know when he's there. Do you know what I mean? Like in this moment, he's present, and there's times when he's not. One of the other when I do my relationship consulting, you know who gets played more than anybody? Basketball players, sports dudes. And Army and Navy and service dudes. They the corniest niggas in the world. Great guys, good dudes, but got no game at all. First of all, a dude who plays sports at that level, double and triple practices. All they know is football. They don't get a chance to. This is how yeah, why not? This is how Lala snatched up Carmelo. Right when he was, because she put it on him, and Lala was not fresh out the plastic. Let's just leave it at that. But what you
100%.
have is these dudes who basketball or Zion Williams, who is Zion Williamson, who was talking to this BBL porn star and telling her he was like no game at all. It's because you really any women that any social interaction that you've had with women is usually predicated on your fame as a basketball player or football player or the fact that you might go.
You might have
so
some
they
bread.
don't have real interaction. It ain't. I mean, I was trying to get ass when I was sleeping in my mom's basement on a futon. You know what I mean? Without a top sheet. So you gotta get game to do that.
Right.
So I was driving around in a Toyota Corolla, 82 Toyota Corolla. So you know what I'm saying? You dudes like him just don't, they play football. That's all they know is football. And then when they get in the game, this is why a lot of them get taken and they get their money taken because they never had no game in the first place.
I'm with you. Let me go ahead real quick and play this real quick.
Black people on toxic dumps. You got the Dulles Airport. That was a black town. DC, that was a black town. So black people have built their own. They had their banks, they had their hospitals. The white people came and burned them motherfuckers. So black people have been working hard all the time. They just come and they f it up.
But again, the narrative wins. The narrative that
There's something about that one guy, not Akbar, but this guy. It's just something, and I don't know this man. There's just something about him that just I don't know why it bugs me, but there's just something very earthworm Jim about him that just rubs me the wrong way. I don't know why. I've never met this man. I don't even know this man's name, but something about it. But this one right here is what really pissed me off on the whole Akbar thing. I'm gonna play the shout out to Fawcett Media. Let me go ahead and run this.
Right bill is the reason why our parents got to come over here.
Boom.
1964, Lyndon Baines Johnson had to sign that civil rights. You know, the thing is sitting right next to him.
Exactly.
So that is the reason why Koreans can come here.
Yep.
Koreans, Indians, Arabs, Nigerians. It's because of the Civil Rights Bill.
Right.
It's because of African Americans, foundational background, coming in here, busting their ass, being treated like.
I find it funny how there are people out there that will tell Black Americans what their history is. And right now, in the middle of Black History Month, we have a contender for one of the most egregious, but luckily we have Godfrey here to correct the record on FBA and ADOS history, the Negro American history. We need to get some things straight.
My father refused. Like, we would have been eligible for welfare.
My parents didn't play that.
My
shit.
dad was irritated by the idea. It was like, why would I? Like, I can do this on my own.
Yeah.
I don't need anybody to.
And you can see the path that this host, Akbar, who's also Nigerian, he's going for.
Yeah.
Like, do you understand that at this point right here, Akbar's completely out of fucking pocket,
oblivious to what.
Completely oblivious, because you know my daddy did this and my daddy did that. Like, okay, and then Godfrey is proceeding to break down why that's out of pocket. So there's no doubt in your mind that he understands that saying things
and he believes it. He believes it, and I'm to be honest, he explains it better than I would, because he has this photogenic memory. Like, he retains things in dates and names. Like, I'm horrible at that. You know, I'll be talking about the 14th Amendment and I'll say the 13th instead of the 4th. You know, like, I've just seen him do that 99% of the time. That where he defends, and then you have a misstep, and then, you know, and then people want to not take into consideration the 98% of the times when he's been on shit like that. And I think that is what made him angry, is that he really believes that what he said about Black Americans and our history. And I think he's well read and he understands it. And then, you know, these are the people that believes and honestly believes. It's not even just he said I speak up for you all the time. You know, he said
I speak up for you mother all the time.
Yeah, because he's mad. He's mad, dog. He's mad.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I'm 90% of the time I'm sweet to my wife. 90% of the time I'm loving to my wife. But every once in a while we might get into a disagreement, bro.
That's you, player.
But okay,
That's you.
Look, I'm with you. It's me, and I'm not telling you that. Here's the only thing. Let's take me out of it for a minute. Since you've been on with me, right?
Yeah.
Godfrey, I played clips where Godfrey has demonstrated his ability to see that something is wrong and apologize.
Yeah.
Godfrey has demonstrated that he understands the history of my people.
Yeah.
Godfrey has understood that there are some people who are just absolutely effed up. And Godfrey has understood that sometimes his temper can get the better of him. So either you know how to apologize or you don't know how to apologize. It can't be both. If he does, then my question to you, from somebody who's known him for decades at this point, why hasn't he issued an apology?
I mean, I think what happens is people talk shit online, and I honestly think when you have the conversation with him, and you explain what the point. I don't see where he wouldn't apologize. And I'm not saying I had a talk with him that this.
No, I know.
About it. I'm just saying that he genuinely would. You know, if he said, I don't want to hurt nobody. I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. I'm not trying to start nothing up with nobody. But then there's motherfuckers that come on and troll you, and they get at you, and he's affected by it. And I mean,
but ain't that the job? Like, you've been stand up longer than I have.
Yeah,
ain't that part of the job? Like, at what point?
Look,
everybody ain't got. So what you're saying is his skin is thin? Are you trying to tell me that this man here is sensitive?
In certain situations, I mean, we all sensitive about certain things. Did you see when when Aries got into that fight with Zoe on 5150?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Loved every
Okay.
minute of it.
Well, let me give you a background.
Sure.
Aries was how so I'm a light-skinned dude, grew up east, in borderline of Crown Heights and Bed-Stuy, right?
Right.
If you got a light-skinned dude in the crew, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's the nigga you worry about because he's the
If
one
he in the crew,
he's the worst.
yeah,
Even, like,
because
in my
he got
youth-
something to prove because he's the light skin.
This
gonna try him
how many
first.
times I heard niggas call me piss colored R&B nigga. This Albie Shaw that just so when
His
it
color is wild.
so colorism is crazy. And I never thought that way where I was like, you black, blah, blah, blah. That never even came out of my mind because I have my own insecurities. But when I watched the 51 thing with Aries, as soon as he said piss colored motherfucker, and I could hear Zoe's voice, I was like, I knew immediately it was gonna go down. And Aries was like, blah, 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 and he's totally unaware that this dude is on a whole nother plane now, and you from Newark, New Jersey, and you don't know that this is you getting ready. I knew he was gonna get the beat down. There was no doubt in my mind. Soon as he called him piss colored, I was like, it's on and popping. And because when he said it, I was like, you know what I'm saying? Like I was ready to go. So, you know this, but this is all black trauma, dog. This is all black trauma that we have not even dealt with, and it's like, I mean, I had dudes I used to run the streets with in Brooklyn where somebody would say some fuck shit to me, and my boys were like, please don't start him, because it's girls here, it's partying, it's liquor. He getting ready to fuck it all up, cause you. But it was my, you know what I'm saying? It was my chink in the armor, because I wasn't black enough, you know, or I was too cute, or I mean, I don't have it now, but I had curly hair. Look, I used to look like the cover of the Albie Shaw album, bro. I used to walk around like this all the time. You know? So, I mean, but people have their triggers, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. People have your triggers. Godfrey also doesn't, like you talk about hecklers. I'm always, whenever he doesn't talk to the audience. You know how some motherfuckers like Mojo Brook, these niggas talk to the audience? Yeah. Godfrey don't talk to the audience. He don't ask that I'm here to perform, such and such. If somebody heckles, he'll handle it. But anytime somebody heckles, I'm always worried about him going too far, because he doesn't engage them, and he doesn't want to be here. I'm here to perform for you. I'm here to do what you want. I don't mind, but I'm a different dude. Right. But he don't deal with hecklers. He'll freak, he gets upset, goes too far, and then he be like, everybody, like every comic don't do that. Mm-hmm. And certain motherfuckers say, yo, get security. Because here's the other thing, it never gets better. Do you know what I mean? Right. Like if somebody's disrespectful and you check them and you doing a set, and then they go back again for another dose right after you spank them, it ain't gonna get better. It's only gonna get worse.
It's only gonna get worse. I understand that. Yeah. I got somebody sent me a what do you call this, Cash App, and he says, ask Dante why he led the discussion last show when Godfrey should have been apologizing. He wouldn't let him get a word in edgewise.
Who? He's talking about when the Haitian dude called in. Because I was offended. Mm-hmm. Because I was offended by what the Haitian dude said. Yo, come on, these young niggas. I'm like, first of all, 2 generations out of your immigrant thing, your son is a YN now, because he's in them streets. And I remember when Haitian motherfuckers used to hide their Haitianness
all day.
We motherfuckers didn't start coming out as Haitian until Wyclef blew up, and then they had because I grew up in Crown Heights, so the West Indian Day Parade, it's 5 million people dumped into my neighborhood every Labor Day, and Haiti didn't have a float until Wyclef and Lauryn Hill had blew up.
Right.
So it's like it's ebbs and flows and stuff like that. It's just people like, look, if somebody, and I didn't say this to him because I don't think it's my place to say you hurt people's feelings and people are hurt by, but you also get people in the comments. It's like, well, why didn't I shut the, this dude is really literally saying, why didn't I shut the fuck up and just shut the fuck up, nigga. Like, this is a show, we doing it live. It's stream of consciousness, we're doing it, and whatever comes up, comes up. You know what I mean? It's like, this is not, we don't produce it. We're trying to give something real, and this is my take on it. If you don't agree, don't agree. I'm just, I don't have to be here. Then it's like, oh, you got him on there. Why you don't have Godfrey on there? And I like, you stop.
Step by step, like relax. I got that part. Listen, what did Dr. Umar? We must stay focused, my brother. We must stay focused. I'll be chill with the 199 super chat said, question, what happened with Godfrey and Lord Jamar?
That was really, again, me. That was me. 100% that was me. Lord Jamar came on.
For the art, because the audience
so
might not know.
Lord Jamar was talking about flat Earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think, in my opinion, it's the misinformation that allowed Donald Trump and these white supremacists to get in the office. The fact that we don't have what I call an epistemology. Epistemology, for those who don't know, I know you know, but
yes, of course.
Epistemology is the process by which you discern what is truthful and what's not truthful. And most people don't have a process that they go through to make sure that something's truthful or not, right? And Lord Jamar came on and he was flat Earth, and he was he's also disrespectful. He's a disrespectful dude in general, and he talks nasty, and also he's not a smart dude either. But he was gish galloping. Just he throws so much stuff at you at once, and I don't like. This is the thing I say about Godfrey, like how Godfrey has that photogenic memory. Like you, I can think actively and problem solve actively, but if you're asking me to understand the details, I'm not great at the details and the dates and the names and I couldn't. So I wanted to get he said I'll debate Neil deGrasse Tyson, and I'm like the absurdity of the fact that a guy with a 9th grade education would think that he's gonna debate
one of the greatest astrophysicists on the face of the planet, black or white.
Stop it.
I get what you said.
But I also know Chuck Nice, who does Star Talk with Neil, and I reached out to him, but I couldn't get him. So I reached out to a couple of black educators, and there was this one brother, I forget the brother. I actually sent him an email because I just saw him say that he actually responded back, but for some reason I didn't see him because I didn't want to have a white boy smoke Lord Jamar.
Right. You wanted somebody black.
For the optics. But I couldn't 100%. I didn't see this brother. There's a brother, I forget, he usually he's a science guy. He's got a couple of degrees in science. He's a science educator. He usually uses Blanca, Blanca from Street Fighter. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know who Blanca from Street Fighter is. Yeah,
but I mean,
I know, I know I can see his face. I can't call his name. I know who you're talking about.
Okay, so I reached out to him, and for some reason I didn't see when he responded back. I also don't be on Instagram in my comments because it's just too much shit. And so Professor Dave hit me back, and I set it up. I set Professor Dave to come in, and then we all know what happened after that, how Lord Jamar, before Professor Dave even opened his mouth, he was cussing out Professor Dave and calling him the F-bomb and all kinds of stuff, which actually was better because he was so indignant that the fact that he was a white boy schooling him didn't even matter because Lord Jamar was just ass out so bad. like you wilding out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Right.
and he got spanked, and that kind of was the downfall of Lord Jamal. But I did that.
Makes sense.
I
Right.
reached out to him, and I was like, I said, because you cannot have people. I don't want black people talking about flat Earth.
Right. Because it spits in the face of the black physicists, the mathematicians, the scientists
The
that have
sisters
developed
for-
the technologies.
what
Right.
was it?
During
What's the-
segregation, by the way.
Yeah,
Talking about
they
hidden
did the
figures.
math.
100%.
They
Right.
did the math, and so it's like, but I get it that there's a situation where, because you read Medical Apartheid and you watch Marion Sims and how he had a bunch of slaves in a cabin in his backyard and was doing experiments on them in his backyard with no anesthesia when anesthesia was available to him, right?
Right. 100%.
And they call him the father of gynecological sciences, and he tortured black women to do it.
Yeah.
Every major
And that's where you get the
medicine-
medical myth to this day that holds up that black women feel less pain if they feel pain at all, which is why a whole lot of
Absolutely.
women, a lot of our women don't get the painkillers when they are asked to have them to get prescribed, and why so many black women die from procedures that are not that are considered basically common. Hold that thought, because I want to get to CJ OJ says, I love Godfrey, but he loses his temper on his lives if he is checked for anything. I think he's being stubborn because he feels unfairly chastised right now, but he'll come around with reflection. Thank you for the $10 super chat. What do you say to that, Dante?
Agreed. I 100%. I know he was, because he's just not that dude, you know.
Right.
You know,
But at this point, he's the thing of it is, bro. Like, and again, I can separate art from the artist. I can separate that this person has done phenomenal things, right? OJ, I remember being literally 8 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm in Ohio. My godfather was my dad's war buddy. They fought in the Korean War together. This guy's name is Dickie Davies. Dickie Davies was the vice president of Goodyear. And so me, the Davies children, John McEnroe, and my dad are at the Hall of Fame game where OJ gives his speech. And he talks about how important it was that his mother loved him and that he would not have been the juice had it not been for his mother. My dad said to me, Dave, no matter what happens to me, I want you to be like OJ. Make sure you take care of your mother. The reason that I'm doing my show right now at noon as opposed to 10 o'clock when I normally do is because my mom got into a car accident. I dropped everything. I went to go handle,
is she all right?
take care of her. Oh, she's perfectly fine. Just a little shaken up. She's 80. She just turned 80 last week. So, you know, certain things you start to see your parents take a step. You understand
my
this.
mom at 80. I lost my mom at 80.
Yeah, so blessings to you on that. But that's the point. But he said to me, David, be like OJ. Take care of your mom.
Yeah.
You know that probably has not aged well.
Yeah, exactly.
But you see what I'm saying? You can't discount the fact that this man ran through the airport for Hertz. You can't discount that he's one of the first huge, aside from Jim Brown, obviously, respecting Jim Brown and folks like that who, you know, transition to Hollywood. All of that aside, the past 3 weeks, your boy's been on a tear that people are considering a tether tantrum against foundational Black Americans who he says he reveres in such high regard and hasn't had an apology. Before I get your response to that, I got to stop. My man right here. Let me see here. Let me go up here. Fawcett Media with the big $100 super chat said, great show. Shout out to you and Dante for facing the music. This is cool, but the clock is still ticking on Godfrey. Hopefully we can have a discussion on Godfrey's podcast.
Big shout to that dude. I love his content, bro. Like, motherfuckers is doing it, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of inside. That I'm, you know, that I have that I can't expect people to, you know, you're going to look at it from what's on the surface. You know,
100%.
It is what it is.
Yeah, but thank you, Frank, for that. Thank you, Fawcett Media, for that $100 super chat. $2 super chat from Sexy Red said, so the Democrats fight for foundational Black Americans? I guess that's a question for you.
No, I don't like. So I've gotten motherfuckers come at me about the Democrats, me shilling for the Democrats, and where I think they misunderstand is that there wasn't there's no third choice, and if you look statistically, Black people have done better under Democrats for the last 100 years, or at least the last 60 years. I mean, unemployment, financially, social services, and so on and so forth. And so there's never been a third choice, which I'm really liking this social, what Manami is doing in America. Although I don't like the fact that he said that New York is a city of immigrants, which discounts the indigenous population and the Black indigenous population. So, but my choice was like, are we really thinking that not having Kamala as the president is better than this orange bag of shit? I mean, is that really where we're at now when we're watching this guy dismantle all means and norms of everything? Another thing I have a problem with a lot of times is the fact that Black people yelling at that, they were screaming about Kamala and her, her code switching. Oh, this bitch is code switching. When you cannot understand this, you would not have code switching if there was not white supremacy where Black people can't show up as they are in corporate America. The only reason why we have code switching is because of white supremacy.
Okay, now to that point, I want to. Are you familiar with Mindy Kaling?
No.
Okay. Mindy Kaling. Let me show you, because I can show you better than I can tell you, because this is extremely important, because I think a lot of people aren't aware of this, and this is why sometimes people give Kamala smoke. Right? It's one of the reasons. And again,
Mindy, you mean the actor? You talking about the actress?
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, hold on. Just two things I want to show you. Right. The first is this. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it here, because I think this is a. Okay, here we go. Let me go ahead and pull this.
Always identified herself as a Black woman, but here's a clip. I'll just play it.
Yeah, this is the press. Tom, rewind, please. Go back a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, so what we're gonna cook today, is an Indian recipe. Yes, because you are Indian. Yes. Okay, and I don't know that everybody knows that, but I find that wherever I go and I see Indian people at the supermarket, on the street, everyone's like, Kamala Harris is Indian, right? It's like the thing we're so excited about to have you running for president. So we're both Indian, but actually we're both South Indian.
Yes, you look like the entire one half of my family.
Okay, thank you.
You do.
I've been telling people we're related already, so this is perfect. It's basically true. And so were you raised eating South Indian food?
South Indian food.
All right, now to that point, because I want you to hold your thoughts until I get you this whole thing. So in real time, because I know you don't know this, because if you know this, you would understand why people are so pissed off. And when it comes to Kamala specifically. So I want you to watch this.
Mindy Kaling is having a rough 2020.
Let me see if I can get sound on this. Here we go.
And now people are making.
For some reason it's not giving me sound. Hold on.
Mindy Kaling's been getting a lot of
Why is it not giving me
bad
sound?
press lately for her latest Velma series, and now her brother is as well, as it came out that he lied about being Black just to get into medical school. Apparently it was harder to get into medical school as an Indian, but easier as a Black American because they wanted to increase the rate of Black American doctors. However, Mindy Kaling came out and said that she disowned her brother over this and disagreed with his actions, but her brother also came out and said that Mindy...
I can hear you.
All right, say something, bro.
Can you hear me?
I don't know what
you don't hear me?
What's happening here? Let me try something. Let me turn this.
I hear you. I hear you.
Say again?
I hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I think something happened. This is why. Again, that's why I'm gonna get that monitor, like you said. See, that's how you know we're live, Black people. All right. So now we got that out the way. So let's let me push this in. I know you lying to me. This is the devil is busy.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. There we
testing,
go.
1 2 testing.
1 2. Hold on, let's do this and then let's go back. Of course, now that let's see if I can get it. Hold on. Okay, so it's this one. All right, so let's get this popping. See if we can get this camera back up and running. Because of course, black people are waiting for me to do this. But while I'm working all this good stuff out, here we go. All right, now we're back cooking with gas. I don't know what happened.
You
back
hear
in
me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Now I want to play this before you respond because this is where it gets very ugly. Hold on. Let me go here. All right. Let me see if this is the one. Can I? You can't even see. Y'all can't even see this. Hold on. I'm gonna run this back. Here we go. All right, now I got it. All right, thank you guys for bearing with me. Here we go. This is it. This is why people got an issue with Kamala Harris for this very reason.
2023, and now people are making fun of her because her brother lied that he was black. Explain this, Mindy Kaling is the daughter of a doctor where for decades her mother was a gynecologist. Now is Mindy Kaling's inspiration for making her character a gynecologist in her 6-season series, The Mindy Project. Mindy Kaling's brother wanted to be a doctor in real life, but his problem was he didn't have the grades to get into medical school. Medical school is very difficult to get accepted to with only a 5.5% acceptance rate, the average GPA being a 3.8 out of 4.0. And Mindy Kaling's brother didn't think he'd get accepted into medical school because of his grades, so he lied saying he was black. To do that, he actually shaved his head when applying to medical schools to look more convincing. He also didn't use the name Vijay in his applications, instead saying his name was Jojo. The reason he did this is Indian people make up 8.5% of doctors in the US despite being only 1.4% of the population. At the same time, only 5.4% of doctors are black despite black people making up 13% of the population. We said he was black because medical schools are looking for more black students. But this gets bad for Mindy Kaling. She said she was ashamed of her brother and disowned him. Mindy Kaling's brother said she knew and encouraged until he got caught. With that, I'm Charles Pro. I hope you learned something.
So here's the point. A lot of South Indians pretend to be black. And Kamala Harris, for the most part, throughout her career, if you go back and you look, when she was in San Francisco, when she was rocking and rolling, when she was first running for senator, she positioned herself as Indian. You can't name one black person she's ever been around other than people that she passed off as relatives of her who are not relatives of her. And Jamaican, just like American, is a nationality. It's not an ethnic group. I know Indian Jamaicans. I know Asian Jamaicans. I know white Jamaicans who talk like this. So the thing of it is, Kamala, and bro, I've been black all my life. I have yet to see one black grandmama ever, hell, one black mother, hell, one black woman who washes her collard greens in the bathtub and seasons them with bacon. So there's a lot of suspect tethery shit about Kamala Harris. Now, to that point, when we talk about from a national level, the stats that you said are correct. The problem is, you look in Chicago, black mayor took the money from the COVID relief fund that was supposed to go to impoverished, and I'm only using this for a technical term, black and brown people. He put the majority of the illegals in densely populated, underserved black neighborhoods, to the point where there was a black woman who had was exercising her constitutional right and was speaking in front of city council and the mayor, Brandon Johnson. And there was an illegal who got job training, benefits, housing, and cash, was telling her that she was lazy and she needs to go get a job, right? You've got somebody like oh gosh, I can't think of the situation, but in Atlanta, you've got black mayor after black mayor, Democrat after Democrat, and it's hard to find someone who is reading at grade level. You got Wes Moore, who is I think Jamaican or Haitian. I can't remember what Wes Moore is, but he is the governor of Maryland. You don't find one kid, to your point, in Baltimore. You already know what Baltimore is like. With the exception of the Braxtons and a few other folks, Baltimore got a whole lot of respect to Baltimore, but Baltimore got a whole lot of issues. And one of them is there's not one child that can read at grade level in the Baltimore public school system. Sure. And so when you look at what happens with Democrats for the past 62 years, they've had the ball. Here's my issue. Kamala Harris had the Oval, according to her and Joe Biden, for 4 years, and that George Floyd bill didn't get passed, but it took her 48 days to get that Stop Asian Hate Crime bill passed. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
there's a level of y'all have had the ball, and I get there's only two sides. But my whole thing is, why is it when it comes to repair for our community, the same people don't show up unless it's time to do the nay-nay, have a Fat Joe concert, have Megan Thee Stallion twerk in a pantsuit, have people wait 16 hours for Beyonce to show up at a concert, and when we say, where's the tangibles for us? They all of a sudden get amnesia and was like, oh, but we gave you a black president. Oh, we gave you a Fat Joe concert. Oh, Megan Thee Stallion was twerking in the pantsuit. Can you see why there's a group of black folks who are like, we're not getting anything for our vote? And in a constitutional republic, we're supposed to get something for our vote. Am I off base or being unreasonable?
No, not at all. I wouldn't argue any of that, but I do know HBCUs. The thing that Trump signed for the HBCUs, he decreased it by, I think he decreased it by $100 billion.
Okay, now let's be clear about that, because that's a misnomer. And again, this is not me defending the president. I'm just stating fact.
Okay.
Because this is what Biden did. When Biden went in there and said, oh, I'm going to increase this. Yeah, see, the problem with black folks, respectfully, is that we read the headline, but we don't know what the fine print is. Are you familiar?
I might be wrong. I could be wrong.
You are, and I'm going to prove it to you. Do you know what an MSI is?
No.
Have you ever heard of a TCU?
No.
Exactly. So what happened was, what they do is they, just like with everything else throughout history, Godfrey would know this. You're a very well-read man. Shit, you got a plaque I ain't got on my wall because I'm just starting. But here's the thing: as well-read as you are, you know for a fact that what I'm saying in this point is that black people usually get to be the face of every movement. When the Tuskegee Airmen were fighting for World War II, they let us fly, but they didn't think we were so skilled pilots, but they wanted us to take all the risk. In the Civil War, even if you watch the movie Glory, that whole situation was about black men wanting to fight for their freedom, but they gave us all the grunt work, all the infantry stuff. Hell, to this day, a lot of times foundational black Americans are on the front line fighting for this country. We get all the bad positions, right?
Yeah.
Here's the gag. When it comes to the funding, there was always a situation where HBCUs had to come and petition for this funding. Trump said, no, you're not going to have to do that anymore. I'm just going to sign it and be done with it because it's just a waste of time. Why are you here? Love my fine African Americans. I'm sorry, these Negroes are foundational now. Here's the thing. When Biden went and increased the funding, the majority of it went to TCUs, which are tribal colleges and universities, not for foundational black Americans. And it went to MSIs, which is a group of what are called minority serving institutions. You never heard of either of those terms until 25 seconds ago. That's where the majority of that money went. So when you look at that money, the amount that we got actually under Biden was decreased, and the money that Trump earmarked was more. But he made it look like he did something. It's a trick bag because he knows none of us are going to read the fine print. Unfortunately, I ain't got shit else to do but read the fine print. And that's the gag. There's a whole bunch of that type of trick baggery that happens, which is why you got Kamala Harris. What did she say to the griot again? Hold on, let me see if I can pull it up. Hold on, let me see. Hold on, here it is. Hold on, let me grab that clip because it's this one right here. Hold on, let me pause it because I want to make sure that we get it up on the screen and we don't have any issues. While I'm doing that, I want to say hello to Big Hurt with the $5 super chat. Says the United States has always have incentivized all immigrants over foundational black Americans and have the audacity to tell us to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Brenda Thomas 1435 is Dave. Dave, get this man up out of here. Not for $2, I ain't. You're going to have to give me a $500 super chat to kick this man off, and then I'm just going to bring him back because this man reached out to me. There's a whole lot of people who didn't reach out to me, which is why we have the Godfrey Watch. The countdown, chair is still open right now. Dante's in the chair. Again, happy to have him here, but we're not stopping until we had a conversation. Me and Godfrey face to face, mano y mano, putting them up. I'm fucking around, but I'm not fucking around by having the conversation. I'm fucking around about I'm not. Right. But let me go ahead. Where is
but this is this is exactly my point. Somebody gives a $2 get this. It's just like
it's like get him up out of here.
Like you clown ass niggas, shut the fuck up. Yo, you get me out of here, bitch ass.
Oh my God! Stop! See, you're doing the Godfrey thing. You're getting triggered.
I know.
You're getting triggered.
You're right.
This is why you let him go. This is why people is mad at you, because the same way you just got triggered right now, and you're 60. This man is 56 and a half, and he got triggered.
You're right. But it's relentless. But dog, come on, man. We're having a conversation here.
That's the only way we get to learn. Absolutely.
I didn't deny any of that, but I still would say what I did say was the other part that I said. I said, did black people do better with unemployment? See, Trump got rid of 650,000 black women in federal jobs. Why?
Because most of the now hold on real quick with that, the majority, and here's what's crazy, because we only tell half of that stat and we never talk about the backlash of it, right? Because here's the truth, we're talking somewhere between 300,000 and 650 depending on estimation, and I definitely want to go there. Here's what we're not talking about. Because when you're looking at that, there's a shit ton of redundancies in those positions. And then here's the thing, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. You've never heard of a broke plumber. You've never heard of a broke welder. You've never heard of a broke painter. But yet and still, these people who are so allegedly so viable, because a lot of these positions were underwater basket weaving pork positions, how come if they're that damn skilled, they can't find work in the private sector? If you've got a government job and you've had a government job for a while, how come that doesn't transfer over in the private sector? Because mostly people who have worked for the government are considered exemplary employees in the private sector, statistically speaking. So how come those same jobs, or at least a third of them, hell, a tenth of them, have not found work in the private sector doing the same so-called position?
I'm not even talking about that. I mean,
You're talking about because of the DEI thing, which, by the way, black people need to get the hell up off of, because DEI benefits white women at 51%.
Absolutely.
It only benefits black people at 4%, and the majority of them go to black women.
I agree with all of that, but I'll give you an example. Look,
sure.
I think that all black people should apply for welfare. You should get everything you could get. The difference is here's what I'm saying, but not have a welfare mentality. What I'm saying is anything this government is going to give you for free, you should take, because they owe it to you. So, but I also subscribe to what you're saying, is to have a mentality to uplift. So if you got a federal job that pays the bills and then you can send your kids to school, you should be educating yourself beyond it. The problem is that people get the federal job and then they get lazy and they don't grow, and then you wonder why the movement doesn't move, because we're not elevating. I mean, you know, this whole thing with where they were trying to jump on Dave Chappelle about going to the Saudi comedy thing, the festival. Mm-hmm. How you gonna get on him about going to the Saudi comedy festival, and they gave Trump a $400 billion plane? Like, you got this guy you got this orange bag of shit. He made almost $1.5 billion off the crypto payoffs. I just saw a thing the other day. The stock trades that Trump made is something like 4,000 stock trades. 0 with Obama, 0 with Biden, 0 with Senior Bush and Junior. Like, we're talking about a level of corruption, and maybe she is a tether. Maybe it is.
Oh, she's definitely a tether.
But it
she's
ain't
definitely
worse.
A tether. But hold on, wait.
It ain't worse than what it is. It ain't
watch
worse.
This though. Watch this. And this is where this broad loses me. Wow, this right here. Here it come. Listen to your corner. Watch for the hook.
That clip is from an interview I did with Kamala Harris 5 years ago in 2019, when she was first running for president in the Democratic primary.
Let me get
before
to the
she
actual
became
part.
Joe Biden's VP. At that time, many Democratic,
and in particular, Black people have not. And so we have got to recognize that and do something about that and give folks a lift up. That's why, for example, I'm proposing the LIFT Act. Give people who are making $100,000 or less as a family a tax credit, which will benefit and uplift 60% of Black families who are in poverty.
So by default, it affects Black families, but there's not a particular policy for African Americans that you would explore.
But no, if you look at the reality of who will benefit from certain policies, when you take into account that they're not starting at the same place and they're not starting on equal footing, it will directly benefit Black children, Black families, Black homeowners, because the disparities are so significant. So if we focus on the specific issues that have resulted in the greatest disparities, and we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit Black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No.
And when she got into the Oval, she didn't do anything that was specifically going to benefit Black people, but she sure enough did something that was specifically going to benefit Asians. And by the way, somehow Black people, specifically foundational Black Americans, caught strays because some crazy white man who also didn't take his medicine went up into the sucky sucky love you long times and started going brah, brah. And I'm not doing a designer impersonation when I say that. And she took off the pearls and the chucks. She stopped with the ski-wee and perm, and she got her ass on Air Force Two, and she started standing in solidarity with the Asians, and that Stop Asian Hate bill got passed into law in 48 days, and Black people have still suffered. By the way, while she was vice president, as an alumnus of Howard, I can tell you this because not only did I pay for my niece to go, for my daughter to go there, but my niece also went to Howard. They had kids literally at her alma mater, a stone's throw from the White House she went to and worked at every single day, not being able to be in their dorm. She did absolutely nothing and drove past them every single day. I don't understand how somebody who went to HBCU, and by the way, there's a hell of a lot of Asians upticking at Howard. I know white Deltas, I know Puerto Rican Qs. So just because you pledge does not make you Black either. My issue is she specifically found a way to specifically do things for the Asian part of her, but the Blackness.
Well, let me just shout out to the Qs first and foremost.
Here we go. Friendship is essential to the soul. Y'all gonna be all right. And for 100+ years, they ain't done nothing but bark and yell.
Come on now.
And that's the entire that's the entire Divine Nine, bro.
Well, look,
the entire Divine Nine.
Agreed. But Doug, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is, when given the choice, they're eating the dogs or her, I'm gonna choose her.
So you're going to choose somebody who said that she wasn't the border czar, but then before that started becoming a talking point, she had no problem being the border czar. You're going to choose somebody who literally just said that she wasn't going to do anything for Black people specifically. You would choose somebody who had the Oval and could not understand why there were all these illegals. And she told Lester Holt, we've been to the border. He said, well, you haven't been to the border. She said, well, I haven't been to Europe either. Yet and still, one of the greatest groups who was discriminated against because of all these illegals coming into the country are foundational Black Americans. So you're going to vote for somebody who let 10 million people in here to eat off our plate and be cool with that over this orange bag of shit.
Other than Trump increasing his wealth, and his sons are now in mining. They're doing mining now, mining zinc, and yeah. I mean, I don't doubt that there needs to be a great reset, and I think that it's just like I feel so frustrated and overwhelmed by the inadequacy of corporate Democrats and Republicans who are just conservative. We're basically the KKK and the white supremacist party that literally are working on our demise. The fact that we get crumbs from Democrats, and but you know, like I'm probably gonna be all right. But I know some motherfuckers where the crumbs is all they got. So
yeah, listen, we all know people who eat toaster shakings. I get you real quick. The KKK was founded by Democrats, by the way.
Yeah, but you know that
Joe,
there was a switch.
Oh, here we go with the party switch. If the party switched, then how come Robert Byrd didn't switch parties? Who was an exalted cyclops of the Klan?
Let's make no mistake. It's not like I think in any shape or form that the Democrats are not white supremacists.
Oh yeah, I just want to be clear on that because the white supremacists both sides of the equation, and I give Republicans the same amount of smoke I give Democrats. I think the whole thing of it is there's not, like, here's the thing. Show me somebody who is federal, who is a Democrat, who's been elected, who's not a millionaire.
Nobody.
Thank you. That's the point.
Nobody.
But they act and they put up this thing as if these people are working so hard, so tirelessly. They're all rich. Obama got a house, a compound in Hawaii. He got another compound in Chicago. He got another compound in Martha's Vineyard. The chef somehow winds up drowned. Okay. Like Biden, his son was literally talking to folks overseas in Asia. Yeah, well, I'm going to get the big guy on it, this, that, and the third. You can't tell me what the Biden family business is as well versed as you are with the Trump family business. All of these cats are corrupt. It's just that because we don't know.
You're not going to get an argument from me on that.
But my whole thing is, why is it as intellectual as you are and people who, you know, are talking about how bad the Orange Man is, don't seem to have that same level of understanding of how the Biden crime family operated, the Obama crime family operated, the Clinton crime family operated. But we're so focused on this one dude, like he invented racism, and I got a lot of issues with him.
Oh no,
why? You understand what I'm saying? There's
look, I'm going. There's the only reason why the Democrats are not racist is because the tent is bigger and because people they need to have some, they need to throw crumbs to black people so that they can win elections. And given an opportunity where they didn't need black people, I don't think they would do anything else. I mean, I just watched Cory Booker crying about the death of Lady G, Lindsey Graham, yesterday. Just
Lady G is wild word.
You know, and now because all the MDAs are being this dude is, you know, all the twinks and all the
rainbow folks
they calling this nigga out because the NDAs is out. Dog, it's
a wrap.
So much. I mean, the conversation. I feel like, and maybe you one of those. I just think there's smarter people than me about this. Do you know what I mean? There's and I think that I don't disagree with anything that you're saying. There's things there's certain things that I've learned today that I didn't know before. But I know when America has a cold, you know, black people have pneumonia, you know, and I just want my people to be better, whatever it is, even if it's crumbs. If it's
okay, so let me ask you this. Because this is a good question. When it comes to reparations,
yes,
right? If Donald Trump said, I know he's not going to, but let's just pretend we're in imagination land, right? He says, or any Republican says, we're going to give black people reparations. What are you doing? Because all we got from Democrats is studies at this point. We ain't got shit from Republicans on it, but I'm just asking.
But we don't even have studies. Well,
there's been several studies from reparations.
I mean, I guess what I'm saying is I gotta use it as street rules. Mm-hmm. I give you the bundles. You fucked up the package. You came back. You're not trustworthy. I can't trust you. What you can do, you got to show and prove. So this is a situation. So I can't put my name on something when you haven't been trustworthy. I mean, now if that's what he's going to do, I mean, you got to wonder why would he do it. Or what? I mean, and we know he wouldn't do it because he doesn't even. I realize
none of them are going to do it because it's political suicide. And here's the other part that nobody likes to talk about. And I haven't heard anybody say this publicly. So allow me to be the first because I know you ain't heard this one. If in fact the United States repairs black people for the atrocities of slavery, Jim Crow, redlining, all of those things, they would be admitting to not only a genocide, a kidnapping, several crimes in despicable acts against humanity. At that point, the UN would be able to sanction them for what they did to their own people.
Absolutely.
And so that's why I think as much as we're pushing for it, we're never going to get it. But I am a staunch supporter of reparations. So, yeah, no matter who gives it to us, you're opening the United States up to a liability that they are just never going to cop to. John Hagelson with the $4.99 super chat says, Dante, all I'm saying is my master's better than your master. You see, y'all out of pocket for $4.99. Like, why can't we get a couple more of these $100 super chats if you're going to shit on my man? And y'all could have come a little bit better with the. See, what you want to do is you want to put the coon light on. I got to show them how to do it.
Here's what you got to understand. I don't trust.
Now, eyes don't want no
Republicans. You know, you got to have the light come down from the bottom. The bottom going up where you get.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You got to have the coon light come from the bottom. You're right. Hold on now. Hold on. You know something. Now, eyes not gonna do
you get around from here.
You get on from around here.
You get from around here, making all that trouble.
Oh, making all that nigga talk. What's wrong?
It is so. I don't have hope. I'm gonna tell you like this. I don't have hope, and I'm trying to be righteous, and I'm trying to make dudes righteous, and I'm trying to educate and do whatever I can do, and kind of, I think there's so much to this. The fact that people don't see black people as human beings. I mean, on a base level, I just don't. I don't really have any white friends anymore. I don't even trust it. And I mean that. I mean, like, even when it's when I deal with it on a business level, but I don't have white friends no more because I don't understand. They just can't even understand. Like, to try to explain it is you don't even get it. I had a dude that I worked with. I worked at the phone company for 30 years, and the dude was my partner in the truck. 20 years. He watched people follow me around stores. He watched me go to fix people's phones, and white lady look me in the face and go, I know my phone is broken. I'm not letting him in here. Talk to my white counterpart. So it's like, where's your truck? Here's my truck. There's the ID with it. He can't come in here. I mean, endless, like on a daily basis. And then I had this dude say some fuck shit to me that was unforgivable. Watched this kid, I watched his family grow and stuff. Went to the christenings and everything. I don't 100%. Do none of that no more. I don't try. And to be honest, I'd rather be fucked by a black. Rather be robbed by a black dude than a white dude. At least maybe he needed.
How about not getting robbed at all?
That would be great. That would be great. And I'm gonna keep my head on this. I'll keep my head on the swivel. But if I do, I'll give you one better. I was talking about this. Let me ask you this question.
Yeah, sure.
I think that black people hate Candace Owens more than they hate Derek Chauvin.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you this. I think black people hate I'll do you one better. I think black people hate Candace Owens more than they hate Derek Chauvin. I think black people hate Candace Owens more than they hate George Zimmerman. I think black people hate Candace Owens more than they hate these three boys that may or may not have had something to do with Nolan Wells. And I think that is always a problem. I'm very consistent in my outrage. If you're against foundational black Americans, I am against you. 100% full stop, because I love my people. I'm an American. I don't want to be no place else. And I told you this before because we started talking about the 14th Amendment offline. There's no place that you can deport me to because this is my ancestral homeland. And that's the beauty of having, historical records and things of that nature. There's no place you can deport me to. I love my country. As effed up as it is, I believe in my country. And let's face it, if our country was so bad, Godfrey's parents wouldn't be here. I can't say his last name. Akbar's, I tried. His family wouldn't be here. Cynthia Erivo with her African booty scratching myth, as if every black person didn't call every other black person African booty scratcher, whether we were foundational or not, loves to talk about black people in that way. There's a bunch of folks, and then my issue, and I didn't say this, but I'm going to say it, and I'll say it to Godfrey when I see him. David Oyelowo had the distinct pleasure of playing Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and said, in effect, whether he realized it or not, because he probably got the same type of ADHD Godfrey got, which is, well, when you take the Southern accent and you take a Nigerian accent and you slow it down and you put some subservience in it. So is that how we came up with Martin Luther King's voice? Because last I checked, Martin Luther King was a Southern black man that talked like this. You You understand? Do you understand how utterly disrespectful it is for somebody who is not even from foundational Black American descent to get? I gotta ask the question. I know I'm not gonna get, but I gotta ask the question. Do you have any idea how utterly disrespectful it is to my ancestors and to my people that this man was chosen by Oprah Winfrey to play Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. by every far stretch of the imagination is a Black Southern man. That in effect, what he's saying, if A plus, you said it yourself, if A is B and if A to B don't work, then A to C gotta work. You know, it's the Pythagorean theorem for those of us who understand 10th grade geometry. So what you're saying is when you started listening to Martin Luther King in your mind, you took a Nigerian accent and you slowed it all
which
the way
is
down,
bullshit.
And you put some slavery and some subservience in it.
Absurd.
And then you decided to
absurd. It's absurd. It's even an absurd process. But I was just arguing with my boy today about, we were talking about British actors. I said, how the fuck would you give Nina Simone to the Dominican chick? How do you give you don't give Viola Davis fucking Harriet Tubman?
Exactly.
You couldn't find a Baltimore nigga that has some familiarity with drugs and the streets in Baltimore. You couldn't.
Right. I didn't know Stringer Bell was a Brit. I found out. I was like, yo.
But this is white supremacy making white people comfortable. I go one better. Why the fuck did Trevor Noah get the Daily Show?
You know why? Because he's the safe type of Negro. He's light skinned. He's the
he,
Obama type of Negro.
Exactly. And then
he's not foundational. And the last thing they want is a foundational Black American at that anchor desk making fun of Democrats and Republicans and showing them to their ass. That's why Charlemagne's show got canceled after 2 seasons. Because first it was called The God's Honest Truth, and white folks saying like that. So then they started calling it It's Been a Hell of a Week, because that's a little bit more palatable. Because his boy, what's his name? Just got fired too. Oh, come on. Stephen Colbert hooked him up with that. And then the next thing you know, they was like, oh, no, we're not having this. Because the second he went and got in, and this was, again, I call balls and strikes. I got a lot of issues with Charlemagne. But when he went to Kamala and was like, yo, is Joe Biden running the country or is it Joe Manchin? And she was like, no, I'm Kamala Harris. And you're talking like a Republican. And Charlemagne, no. And they got him right back up in line. Stuff like that is absolutely insane to me, bro.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we also, even when you talk about, I know for a fact I'm really cool with Roy Wood Jr. Roy and I
are very cool as well. I've known him 25 years.
The fucking Daily Show because of the fact that he should have got the table.
You damn right he should have got the desk. Who was better than Roy?
Let me tell you, and this is a dark horse, and excuse the pun, but you know who I thought when they were interviewing people, putting different people on it, you know who murdered it? Leslie.
Leslie Jones, yeah.
Leslie killed it. Because and she just came out about how at SNL she had to either fight somebody, be in love with a white boy, or be loud and angry. On SNL, and she's talking about it, but she did what she had to do so she didn't have to struggle, and she got the check, and now she's doing what she wants to do. But Leslie Jones was amazing on the Daily Show. But you get these safe Negroes, these people where they feel comfortable with these safe Negroes who especially, and Trevor Noah is world renowned, known for stealing jokes. All the South African.
He's a joke thief, 100%. Yeah, and I mean, again, that's always been a thing that has pissed me off. And I mean, every stand-up comic I know, myself included, has an issue with joke thieves. Listen, man, I remember Michael Blackson stole a joke from me at the second show that I did in the first show when I was at the Laugh House in 97. Because that pun was still alive, and I was a really, really big dude. And I did the joke about a fat boy ought to eat a lot. Yeah, I mean, and then the next thing I know, he gets up on the second show and just, I'm not the fat boy, I just eat a lot. I'm like, the audacity. I mean, the tetherism was falling off the bone, but again, neither here nor there. Real quick before we get out of here, Infinite Wellness says, shit, I didn't know Dave was one of those we ain't never going to get reparations dudes. Damn, homie. No. I wrote an entire book where I talk about the importance of reparations and should we get it. I just said why I don't think we will, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to continue to fight for it. We got to have enough intellectual fortitude to understand the difference between what I'm saying and what you heard. That's why we use that 2 square feet of real estate between our ears called our brain. I understand that reparations is a debt that is owed. I laid out an argument why I think it's not going to happen. I never said I'm going to stop or
not going to stop fighting for it.
Not going to stop fighting for it or not continue to fight for it. Those are two different things. We can have more than one thought. See, foundational Black Americans can walk and chew gum at the same damn time. So again, I can acknowledge that Godfrey is a very smart man, a very well-read man, and I can also acknowledge the fact that he is fucked up, and somebody needs to tell him the same way you apologize to D.A.M.N is the same way you need to apologize to foundational Black Americans. You see how that works? It's two things. There we go. Anyway, bro, I want to make sure before we close out of here, 3 things. Number 1, I want to thank you for your time because you coming on here, you did not have to. I also want to thank you for reaching out to me so that we can have this conversation. I can have this conversation with Godfrey to his face in New York as soon as humanly possible. Secondly, I want people to be able to follow you online and tell everybody about your podcast outside of Godfrey We Trust, all the things you got going on, man. I want to give you the floor for that.
Okay, so I do a relationship podcast. I did a podcast with Patrice O'Neal, a radio show with Patrice O'Neal in 2006 to 2008, which was the Black Phillip Show, which was the rise of I hate to say it, but it was the rise of the red pill stuff without the empathy. So it's just I'm teaching social dynamics and relationships, and that that's my little corner of things that where I my expertise, and I co-host with Godfrey, and and I consider you a friend now, David. Yes, please, I
appreciate you.
Let's keep in touch.
Ain't no let's keep in touch. I'm coming to New York.
Yeah, well, let's keep in touch in general. You know what I mean?
In general, I'm giving you shit.
But and thanks for everybody who's listening, tuning in, man. I love my people, bro. And somebody asked what my nationality is. My mother's from Virginia, Zuna, Virginia, little mountain town. My grandfather is Sioux, is Native American Sioux, indigenous. My dad grew up in Harlem, but his mother was she was half black, half white, Boston, and from Boston.
So that's why you're so damn light skinned. That explains it.
Easy.
I'm just saying, man. If I were to come to your house, right, and rub on your door, would I get 3 wishes?
You would get. Yeah, I've heard that. I'm not even gonna give you that. I've heard that so much. And
I didn't say I was gonna paint you blue though, because that's a Will Smith shit.
Fair enough. And my grandfather on my dad's side is from Antigua, 4 generations removed. So nice $100. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jay Freeman. Appreciate that.
And it's just we trying to learn, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. This is a fight that. It's discouraging, man, and it is really discouraging. It's painful, but the work has to get done, and we got to keep pushing. And man, I really think that people need to educate. They need to read and read and read and read and read and read. And if you not, when you start say some of them is good. Anytime I hear somebody say, well, maybe some of them is good, read Medical Apartheid and
Delectable
Negro, and you see the true essence.
And also, have you read They Came Before Columbus by Ivan Van Sertima?
Yeah, that's up there.
Yeah. Before the Mayflower by Leron Bennett Jr.
That's there.
Yes,
that's there.
Listen, blew my mind when I was in college, freshman year of college. I was like,
Francis Cress,
Welsing,
the ISIS Papers. You know what is a real good one? Let me see. It's here. This one is the Plutonium Files. It's have you read that one?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and which is the experiments. People talk about the Tuskegee Airmen.
Right.
This is radiation experimentation on soldiers, and Acres of Skin is another one, which where they did experiments on prisoners, and I think in Philly. Is it in Philly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, but you push, you read, you stay, you push and you read and you keep aware and you teach and. my thought process about this is always changing, and hopefully you get progress. But I think the progress comes from the education, from overall education. Just grab and read everything that you can read. It changes your mind, opens your brain up. My podcast is Man School 202. I usually go live at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock on Tuesdays. And I'm doing comedy. I do comedy all week long. I mean, I'll be in the city. I'll be out in London in September. I'll be out in London in August. Sometimes I open for Godfrey. Yeah. And I'm trying to get my own thing together, So appreciate you, dog. And we'll work out that next week thing. Sir. Try my best. Thank you for having me on, man.
Oh man, thank you for being here, bro.
Your listeners,
thank you.
Fucking with me or giving me the time or not fucking with me. I get it. Everybody ain't gonna love you.
And that's cool. I got one final question, and then you're done. So now that you've had this conversation with me, we've been at this for 2.5 hours. When you talk to Godfrey, what are you going to tell him?
I'm gonna tell him you should have a conversation. I'm gonna tell him you should have a conversation, and it's you're a legitimate dude that you should have the conversation with.
That's fair. I appreciate that.
And I'm I don't like nobody. That's what he thinks. So if I, you know what I'm saying? I'm the negative. Not that one. So, but I mean, it just I think it's important, man. It's just really important to have these conversations, and even to make the distinction between the FBAs and I mean, which is something that Godfrey does all the time. I mean, he does it all the time, and I think this was a misstep. And I'm also like, you look at my face, I'm like, your man, when you're man, you're like, damn, nigga, stop, cut it out.
You wait, hold on one second. You talk about, hold on, let me go there. Hold on, wait. You mean like, hold on, let's see here.
I'm like, dog, she's a stripper. She don't like you. Stop, nigga, stop.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you, man?
What's wrong with you, dog? She don't like you.
Yeah, man. No, I think that's extremely hilarious. This whole situation for me has been crazy. Hold on, let me see what this is.
Professor Dave?
I guess they said I would like to see him
This is my favorite clip. This is my favorite clip right here.
But no. I bet you it's some kind of fried plantain shit.
People keep talking about Dave Anderson.
Who's Dave Anderson?
I don't know who it
is. Is that
either.
Professor Dave?
I guess they said I would like to see him debate Dave Anderson or Tariq Nasheed.
Who, me?
I guess they just typed it out. They didn't say it.
Fuck you. Dante.
Well, here I am. But
now,
man,
now let's be clear.
No.
He didn't know.
I know.
But when I mentioned your name, he knew your channel, the bully.
Yeah, the business bully.
The business bully. He knew that once I'm in. He was like, I follow that dude. So it's
He's
like
been following me for years.
Yeah.
Like we know way too many people, but again,
this is that.
It's that.
That
again, I'm bringing him some samples. I'm gonna bring this man some. It's gonna help.
Dog,
I promise it's going to help.
He will not take medication, bro.
He's starting to have tethered Tourette's.
This is some other Tourette's, dog. This is like he will not take no meds. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Listen, we need to get him a different type of strain of weed, some shit. Like
he don't smoke weed neither. He don't drink. He don't smoke weed.
He don't smoke. So this just all natural crazy.
This is just him waking up. I'm telling you, he reads books, he does comedy, and he fucks bitches.
Jesus Christ. Dante Nero, thank you, man, for being here.
Appreciate
We're
you,
definitely
bro.
going to keep in touch, man. Let's make sure we get this thing locked in. So
Yeah,
I can
we'll get
sit
it
down
done.
with Godfrey, bro.
We'll get it
I
done.
appreciate y'all. And thank to everybody who came here. Make sure that you comment, rate, subscribe, share this out. I really appreciate y'all. Make sure you click that notification bell. I do this show normally 10 a.m. to noon. Monday through Friday. I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you to everybody who super chatted. It absolutely means the world to me. And I absolutely love y'all. And I definitely think that there's definitely room to have a conversation, and the conversation is going to happen. And respectfully, your boy gonna get this work.
Just stop. Just stop.
Oh man, listen, I absolutely appreciate you for being here, man. Thank you so much. And you are definitely a stand-up dude for that, man. I thank you so much for being here, bro.
You, man.
And I can't wait to keep this conversation going, man. We're gonna check y'all next time. Dante Nero, thank you so much. And Godfrey, we trust we're definitely gonna make it happen. See you soon. Peace.
Please.
Yeah, no. Get your mind right. Real talk, no fluff, no sidelines. We outside, bring the truth to the sunrise. D.A.M.N, yeah, we coming at the right time. Dave Anderson, morning news. Like Hook Media. Morning media just got dangerous.